Hello, everyone. My name's Yuta Jazz, and today we are going to do a pick-up pile on what is your luck like? Because we are having a few things occur at the moment of me recording. It's March 1st, so full moon yesterday. I believe it was a full moon. I haven't been keeping up with a lot of things. I've been just doing stuff. So yeah, full moon. Very interesting planetary alignment that is not going to be occurring up until 2040 no more, is kind of in the sky slash coming out of the sky at the moment. I don't know how long it's going to be for, but it's like everything is in a weird circle or whatever you want to say or call it like. Apparently, there's no astrological values behind it, which I think are a little bit, it's a bit weird and it just sounds like a bit of nonsense, but I'm not an astrologer, so it's just astronomy wise, I guess. Those planets, and astrologically as well, they are not going to be in the placements they currently have been or are on the 27th-ish, going slightly forward of like February 2025 until like 2040, which, whenever we have like long-lasting things like that, it's always pertinent. We're also coming out of the winter period here in the northern hemisphere, and it is really kind of kicking some people into gear on what's going to be, their life like for the upcoming year, the entire year. In general, that also still kind of affects people in the southern hemisphere too, by the point of like we literally just left the beginning slump or beginning like calm period of New Year's, right? And it's like movement of the year ahead has begun. The normal like baseline for it has really kind of officially just like started going in. So yeah, we have quite a few things happening, and even then, regardless of the season aspect, where there's going to be a what's it called? My brain's failing on me this video. I did just record the podcast, so that's probably why. The solstice? There we go, the solstice. We're gonna be having that on the 21st as per usual. So lots of energy shifts, everything's already changing. I don't know. It's interesting vibes. It still kind of feels like limbo to me personally, where I am at for the 1st of March. And I am from like Europe, so the northern part, eastern northern part of it. So it kind of feels a little bit more still foggy, cold, and otherwise whatever. It's so weird. Did it die? No, it didn't. No, it freaking didn't. My technology is glitching really bad today. I had a weird glitch on my recording software when I was in the middle of the podcast episode. My cameras keep turning off at the really weird points. Although my energy doesn't spike. Like yesterday when I was streaming, my energy would spike, and that cuts stuff off. If I get emotional or just, I don't know, some things like up in the ethers, I can expect some glitches to happen or some cameras to turn off, which yesterday that was kind of like, me shifting from one energy to another. Now everything's steady. Steady, steady. So I don't know why. Like, I'm very much clear and focused and cognitive and not really overly emotional. Or if I can know, maybe there's a ghost, which wouldn't be too surprising. Paranormal things do occur, especially in this place for me. I hope, it's not gonna be like that forever if someone else lives here at some point, but yeah. Oopsie. Okay, well, pile number one, sorry, it's not a secret anymore. But maybe you guys had your eyes closed, so. No, that's three, although it was like the second. Anyway, we're gonna read on what our luck is like just to have a overview of the new season coming in, of the new energy coming in. That's going to be a thing for the next 15 years for some people. On the what else? On the new moon cycle as well in terms of energy. We'll see where like people's vibes are at and how your luck is looking like. So pick any one of these piles, and I'll see you over there. And I'm just gonna check the top and bottom of the deck. We don't need to see that. If you really want to know, if you don't want to know, you might want to pause right now and pick the pile you're gonna be reading or looking at. But this was the top and the bottom of the deck, so I guess a lot of people that are tuning into this may be leaving a bunch of difficulty, or in general, in terms of timing, coming out of hibernation, the winter period, just in general, like maybe difficulty, strife, or just working a lot. We have like, yeah, that nine of swords reversed and five of cups upright, which honestly is just letting go of angst and maybe grieving a little bit of the things that didn't work out in the past that we wanted to work out, but it is fine because we are moving on. So, yeah, one through to five. Pick whichever you want, and we're gonna see you over there. Excuse me, I forgot. Right, I did start like turning over cards as well, so you can pick through the images because that's better for some people. I forgot I did that. So yeah, interesting so far. We have two major arcanas and then three minors, and both of them upside down, three of them upside right. We'll see what happens. So yeah, see ya in the pile that you pick. Hello, pile number one. So you picked Death Reverse, which we'll see what that happens to be. But as soon as I'm looking at it's screaming to me like not all is lost. Some things needed to end, so other things could begin anew, is how it's coming across. But blooming is still in effect, so take that for whatever it is. So you might be in a place in a position in life where things aren't necessarily looking their best currently right now, but they are actually moving the right direction. It is kind of like for the purpose of you getting and gaining your own mm, power and light with things. It's basically kind of like leading you to the point of success where success can be had in the most unusual of places. Um, and I think that just because you can't really see it, you can't figure it out. You can't even use your intuition from what I can be seeing. But there is a spark somewhere happening. There is going to be movement when the time is right. Currently, it's just that the time isn't right. And Spirit is taking care of details in the background. And then seeing this right here and right now is reminding me of Pluto. So if you're into astrology, you want to might maybe check out like your Pluto placement, or that's, I don't know if that's like Scorpio. So what house is in Scorpio for you as well? I'm not an astrologer. I don't really do that too much. So this is kind of particular to be popping up for a person like me. Um, I dabble in it. I'm not a professional by any means. But yeah, it's okay that you don't see what you don't see and you don't have a plan and you kind of feel lost and everything is so unknown. It's for a reason because Spirit is taking care of everything for you. The only thing you need to do is relax, enjoy the ride, and do your best to look after yourself as well as take care of business when it comes up to be taken care of. But don't overstress, don't overexert yourself, and don't try running or pushing for things because it's not going to work out anyway. You are achieving something massive. You are getting to the bottom of something that has been very, very much scary and unknown and unseen, but has been a deep life calling as well, possibly. If not a deep life calling, that it's just been a personal desire. Like, I always wanted to have perfect friends or perfect community vibes. I always wanted that perfect partner. I always wanted to achieve my dream, or I always wanted to work as a game designer, right? Or create my own game, or have a startup, or make it into that university, whatever it is. You are gaining that achievement and you're moving forward with everything instead of being held back by your circumstances. But some things needed to fall apart and away. And sometimes we need to make choices in life when we don't actually have a plan or we don't know whether things are going to work out or not for us. We just need to just do it and go for it and just experience existence for what it is, man. Upright or reversed? Reversed. So you haven't had a lot of support in your life and you haven't had a lot of people invest into you the way you've invested into them is what it shows like. Also, you might have had issues with authority figures not giving you the best of like calls or judgment or saying like you lack the know-how or the talent or you're never going to get far. They never really trusted in you having the potential or have spoken to you as if you were wasting your potential. And in general, like you've really struggled through life because you haven't had the support that you really needed or wanted to gain ahead in your endeavors. But you kept at it, you continued on, you never gave up, and you might be a person that really focused on the success of career and work for this like thing that we're talking about in terms of achievement or coming about, but if it wasn't work, it was your passions, it was your projects, it was your crafts, it was what you make with your own two hands, it is your art. Like you are a person of creation, of creativity or work and achievement and you want to have something that you can appreciate yourself at the very least, or you are actually one of those people that wants to become famous and world renowned, is also what's coming across because this pile's energy is very determined, it's very work oriented, goal oriented, or success oriented. In general, you know your stuff. Regardless of who said what and how people didn't invest into you, they probably didn't invest into you because, one, they didn't see the forest for the trees, but the other side of it is they probably were undermining you because they didn't want competition. They didn't want you to succeed, or they didn't want to support your endeavors because you would actually leave their lives, which is really, really hard to admit, isn't it? Especially if it's like close people or people you wanted to be help for you there or you did deem as authority and as you're making your way through life it's kind of like you wish authority to support you, but I wanted to say it's family and we literally have the 10 of cups reversed as I was talking on that and I didn't say it because it's a bit of a self-explanatory energy these days where some things are repeating, I've noticed, within the collective in terms of tarot messages and what readers pick up or speak to. But also, not everyone here is possibly experiencing issues with family, but it does feel like it is mostly family and friends and maybe communities in general, all of them together. Or it could be very close people that you have relied on in your past, kind of just being what you didn't expect them to be, right? Snakes in the garden instead of like supporters for real. So yeah, you've not let that get you down, but it did upset you. And I mean, it didn't get you down in the point that you didn't give up on yourself or your dreams or the work you're putting into something, but it did take your faith out of relationships and community vibes, and it has reassessed your values and who well, your loved ones are, why you love them, what are you gonna do for them, and how you're gonna move on with that. And you've kind of just stopped giving a hoot and a damn in fighting or arguing. You've retreated to a point of solitude where you can focus on your own health and betterment and well-being instead of focusing on to, you know, the mundane or the same old, or those values of life that seem so important. You've just put them aside and hyper focused to one thing that is going to be your success now, and that is guaranteed. And your luck so far seems to be like all of this was meant to happen. Everything was set up to occur this way. And although you felt like you weren't lucky in your life, you could look back and see where you were lucky, or when this success is going to happen because it was guaranteed through these things not happening and not occurring, right? Or through these things always being lackluster and against you. It's kind of like guaranteed the success of your endeavors. You will see and look back once you're at the end or at the destination you desire and be like, yeah, all of that happened so I would get here. I needed that journey to not only prepare me for where I am, but to really be that achievement that I really strived for and wanted to go for. Spirit is on your side. You don't need to see what is ahead of you. You just need to keep doing what you're doing right now and trust the process and enjoy it to the max. Focus on it in a wholehearted way that really makes you happy. 1616 on the clock. Do it in a way that really helps you, like, basically find purpose and meaning for yourself in your own life and how you feel, but also it helps you drown out the noise. It helps you just, focus on that flair of work or achievement or artistic, expression, because a big part in what fuels us in our lives is also the stuff that doesn't, come through for us. The stuff that is a challenge or struggles or even suffering to some extent, although I'm not necessarily a fan of that, but that's the thing that's coming through with the message here. There was something that kind of prepared you like a artist it gets prepared by their life, and there's a lot of like famous artists that are regarded to be this or that because they are someone that went through the darkest of the dark, or they suffered, or they didn't get their just dues and they didn't have support, but they maintained course and they just kept at it. Same as with a lot of like world-renowned or amazing scientists of, back in the day that currently right now we are living, breathing their creations, their ambitions, their visions, even if they're not exactly the same way as they made them, their efforts, even through the struggles of their lives, still came through, right? Still shown through and have become these eternal bits of evidence of genius, of success, of something amazing that none of us could have ever thought of, or they couldn't have escaped even if they wanted to. I guess they could have fought it away and stopped when the going got tough, but in this case, and since you were a person that, just like they, did not give up, and Spirit is looking after you, and I think you're going to make some heads turn. You're going to call some people out just by being yourself. I don't think you're gonna obviously say things, maybe in a response of a polite acknowledgement. You might accidentally call them out without meaning to. That is only for a very, very few of you. Very, very few, like two or whatever. But mostly it's going to be that there's going to be a stark contrast between them and where they are in their life and who you are and who you became despite the struggle or the tension or the toxicity in your past experiences, relationships, and in general, those places that have rejected you instead of supported you, as we were talking with the authority here and the Six of Pentacles, right? The authority figures in your life, you are going to put them in their place. They're going to be like, well, I darn fucked up, didn't I now? Now, if anything, like the best thing that'll happen is they'll mention me in their story of becoming great, and that wasn't that great to them. The whole freaking college or university or this workplace is going to be known to be a place that didn't take a chance on a rise up star and genius or a person of irreplaceable talent. There we go. Irreplaceable talent. A lot of people were fighting for the same position that you are going towards. Even right now, there is competition because I don't think most of you have made it. This isn't a past energy of you were here and let's talk about it. This is more like you're in the midst of it and you're still a starving artist of some sort, or you're still not having your monetary reward and value, and you're having a little bit of doubt. But you also have a lot of faith, and it's kind of like one day there's more of it, the other day there's less of it. How do I progress? What do I do? Keep on being you is the message that's coming through. Don't stop for nothing. Don't give up. Don't forget why you love what you love. Don't forget why you're doing what you're doing. Keep the passion burning as much as you can and do it in a grounded, healthy manner that's also a good pace for you. If you need to take some time off, do it, but do stay persistent because if you kind of like give up on yourself mentally, emotionally, and energetically and then you stop, you can accidentally fall into a slump, and I just heard some of you say like, "Yeah, I can." And I think I kind of got even like some emotions from some of you because it's like I'm tired. I want to go and have the success, or I just want to give up and have a simple life. And when you go at something for so long, I'm not mocking anyone here. I'm literally feeling this energy of desperation of like I am at my wit's end and I am going to, you know you'll get through it, don't worry. It's just figure out how to keep doing it in a healthy way for you. If you need to sometimes, have a day where you're sad and breaking down and just having Netflix and chill, or you say, like, I'm gonna do half as much as I did last week or yesterday, sure, but also get out of your way and doing the things that are going to help you, right? So maybe you're slacking on journaling and writing out your sorrows. Maybe you're skipping therapy days, or you're not looking for a therapist and that would help you and you have the money for it, right? Or a counselor or whatever. Or you're not talking to your friends and you do have friends you can talk to. Or maybe you don't have no friends, no family, and you need to, go work out a little bit or go for that walk in nature, or maybe meditate, or maybe get a better schedule so you get more rest, or start looking at how you spend money so you can spend money on better food. Whatever it is, look at the things you can do to help yourself instead of lingering on how it's not working out and it being painful, because it's gonna grow within you, but you are on your way there. And it's really important right now to not lose your traction, because you have traction, you have inertia. Some of you are going to need to keep it on for at least a month or two. Others of you are going to need to learn how to keep it up for half a year, maybe a little bit longer, maybe less, depending on where you're at. And you're going to need to do it in a way that doesn't burn you out, but keeps moving you forward and keeps this dream alive, because you decided to not run away from yourself no more. You decided to not put yourself down and weasel out, or like self-sabotage and lie to yourself, or have that imposter syndrome about like, oh, I'm never gonna do this, it's never gonna work, da da da. Like, I thought I was great, I'm not gonna be great. How am I like gonna achieve anything? Don't give up. Don't give up. You're almost there, even though it might not feel that way. Sometimes, 2 months can go like that, half a year can go like that, right? Who hasn't had like the beginning of the year and then looked back and was like, it's already June, July, August, or we're already in autumn and I already feel like it's New Year's, and I'm just about to get that graduation of like actually achieving that job position or having that investment for that startup or like being at that point that I'm just one or two conversations or interviews away from having an investor, right? Or having, a successful upload of 200 videos and that reaching almost a million views altogether, which to some is not going to be a lot or big, right? To other people, it's going to be like, I just, after, 150 videos, actually started having a regular, like, 10 whatever thousand views and also having regular clients for the stuff that I create or do or make. And whatever your success is, it is still success and it's still either a beginning or the end or a big blow up, right? Whatever it is, don't give up on yourself because I feel like this is like the closest to success you've gotten, and it's the easiest part to give up on or in if you lose your sense of self in what you're trying to achieve or the focus that you have in the positivity or preparation or the skills that you're practicing. Because this is literally like you're kind of just gaining that momentum or that confidence. It's not necessarily having yourself at this point of constant drought or tiredness or fatigue or being burnt out or other things. Like, even if that kind of comes up or you notice it or remember that that's kind of the fuel gauge you're at, right? The confidence and the mental state you're working with is the more important thing currently right now. And you've built up talent, but now it's about having the frame of focus as well as the confidence for the success story. Because once you transition, you want to also be prepared to keep going, right? You don't want to make it there half dead and then be like, oh, now I don't even want it, or I don't feel like it, or I have no energy to keep on cooking with. And I can take a month off or 2 weeks off and have a vacation or two and a, whatever it is, right? But even that isn't going to be enough for me to come back to a point of like being conclusive or consistent with this. So, or maybe it's going to be like so new and so unknown that it's going to be daunting because you're learning everything from the ground up, from ground zero again, right? Whatever your situation is, keep at it, be prepared, look after yourself, and be ready for it to launch and take off with you being at the center of it and not necessarily instantly falling back or breaking down or some of you might not even have the opportunity to take a vacation. You just need to keep going until you can take that vacation. So depending on where you're at, like, and you guys already know, I feel like you already feel it and know it. It's just you keep doubting it because it's a vague feeling or idea or spirit is leading you towards this understanding, but there's no evidence yet. There's no physical real signs. There's no contract. There's no acceptance letter. There's no whatever, right? But you are there. It's just not here on this timeline yet. It's gonna happen. It's about to happen. You're making your way through to there. Keep the faith. Keep the energy. Keep the vibe. Keep the mentality. Yeah, don't get yourself into this position of not having energy or not feeling like you're a boss or not feeling like you have like the strength to go forward because this will be very important for you. Maybe some of you need to take a break and tend to your wounds. Because after you do that, even if it's just one day of like crashing, right? After that, you're going to feel like you are okay and ready to like go for it again. But you do need to break down, cry, give up, and come back to it, like, and do it all in one day, where it's like, I don't think I'm ready or cut out for it. I give up. Then you come back at the evening and be like, okay, let's keep on going. I just needed that moment. I just needed to break some stuff and now I'm good. Or I needed to work out or have that walk or, have something else, do something else, like change your energy about so you come back with a fresh set of eyes. You can't be studying 24/7. Sometimes you just need a break. So let's just, it flipped out right away. I don't know if any of the cameras picked it up, but that was like such a perfect flip. So thank you, universe, for helping me see beyond the limits of fear. I also heard my own limits of fear, or my own limits that I've imposed upon myself in general. Thank you for expanding my perceptions so that I can see what is of the highest good for all. No, that wasn't it. I don't know why my brain said that. My brain's all over the place today. But thank you for expanding my perceptions so that I can see what is of the highest good. I mean, for all, not for all. It's the same, 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 same. So, yeah. That is your reading. I hope it helps. I feel like some of you said it did. If it did, let me know with the thumbs up. I know how sensitive it is to share, how you feel about readings on the internet. I never do that. I rarely feel okay to share my experience or my opinion or feelings on the a reading I get, especially details about my life. But you feel free to just, leave me a like and we'll be good with that. You don't need to say anything or write anything. You can leave me an emoji or not or don't do anything. But see you in the next reading. If you want to see more of me, there's a link tree down below with my Twitch and other good jazz that I have. So, yeah. Thank you. Peace out. Hello, pile number two. If you chose the Hermit reversed, this is your reading. Let's get into it. See what happens. See what occurs. See what occurs. Yeah, I think the Hermit card reversed currently right now is it's been popping up a lot for me, and I think that's because one, I mean, I think it's relevant for my energy, so maybe this is my pile, maybe not. But two, I'm literally feeling like people are being called out to come out of their hidey holes, their caves, their hermit like states, to connect more, and if not to connect more, then to express themselves more. And I got low battery on Droid Cam, so I'm gonna quickly fix that so we don't have dead camera. All right. Sometimes I hear readers say this thing of like everything is a sign for me in readings, and at some point spiritualists and psychics get to this point where everything in their life is a sign. Doesn't matter how mundane or how whatever, you feel it as like one, it's either just reflecting directly energy and that's why things are happening because everything is energy, right? Or it's literally like you've gotten to this point where you are directly communicating with the universe on such a direct basis that it knows it doesn't need to be very big, grandiose, or abstruse for you to get it or to understand that it's a sign. You're already connected to your intuition and subconscious, right? Because we kind of already click onto it subconsciously, even if consciously you don't believe it and you say it's like coincidences. But it's kind of like, yeah, you get it. I don't need to work for it. Or we're gonna communicate in this secondary way where it's like background, foreground, whatever, right? So when it comes to the camera almost dying currently right now, especially at the point that I was talking about, it felt to me like people in this pile do not have the energy to be seen. I even feel so much more out of breath than like in the previous piles. And I've been feeling out of breath in really weird energetical circumstances. I'm gonna be honest. It's like I either have full lungs for all of, the breathing needs and talking needs, or it's so hard and I'm barely gasping for air. And here it does seem like I don't have the energy to be seen. I don't want to be seen. I am tired. I am tired of the idea of someone looking at me or seeing me or having to have that experience of sharing something and creating or being present in life and being seen. Like I just want to have the prosperity, peace and presence of being in my own space, in my own like hidey hole, in my own like place, and not interact with people. It's kind of like a lot of people in this pile just want to be monks on top of a mountain meditating or in their homes homebodying very happily or being those silent recluse artists that go for arts in, writing about their life or other things when they're going for a walk in the woods, but they're going out at like silly o'clock in the morning, so there's no one else except for dog walkers or something, right? Um, feel like someone just said like, "Oh, that's me." Um, Exercising at hours where you're not gonna see people, like doing everything so you're not actually seen. So you have the least interaction with people possible, and there's no overlap, and there's no noise of the outside world, right? And as soon as I started talking about that, I started being able to breathe again. It's so weird. It's so weird. Oh, that was weird. I'm so sorry. My gosh. Coming back to it, regardless of that being the case, you still actually want to have something. You want to feel something. You want to have like an experience of being there or present or having it out there. And sorry, someone like, I feel like there is a question like, hey, what about if I'm actually feeling what you just felt in the reading of like having shortness of breath? And feeling like I can't breathe in. I keep having difficulties breathing. First of all, go to a doctor. I'm not officially at all certified for any type of official help or assistance of any sort. The only reason I can speak as I speak is because I don't have the restriction of qualifications of any sort. I studied to become a psychologist and I studied holistic health all my life and I know a lot about it, as well as biology and physics in my own personal matters of understanding in life within the body. But in this case, if we're talking just about energetically, and I'm not tuning into the specific people or persons that have asked this question, because I just can't, I don't want to make it a regular thing or have exceptions on that for my own well-being sake. I would have to say that it's probably because like breathing easy is the saying, right? Like breathe easy, relaxed, having clear air, having breath to express yourself, breath to really be there. I feel like someone got it from breath to express yourself. If you feel suffocated, that is literally a feeling, not just a physical experience. It's like you can't express yourself. You feel like something might come against you or there's danger in expressing yourself and someone is going to attack you for your personal expression. Most likely because you've went through a lot of judgment about your personal expression of your interests, of who you are, or what your preference and opinion is, and you probably aren't even an aggressive person to the extent of like what you like or love or what you want to express. It's not harmful, it's just people have been very aggressive and toxic about it. So my assumption is that people have put you in this place of feeling like you can't win for trying on expressing yourself, and it is something like being suffocated by the idea of like, I want to have this come out, but I can't. It's like it's 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 heavy. It's heavy because I keep having to keep it in and then just like protect it and have it. Or every time I try and go and do that, I get attacked. I feel like there's this blanket of heaviness, or people actually push that emotion of heaviness because they're triggered or they're jealous or some other shit, right? If it's people, get rid of those people. If it's you in your head about the past, go back and heal that wound and give presence to that feeling and that version of yourself, it might take a while. It might take just a couple of hours of you kind of like watching Netflix and having that at the back of your head, or maybe meditating for 40 minutes, if you're a meditator. Maybe it's having that at the forefront of your mind when you go for a walk every day for a day, two, five, maybe a week, and it's you processing it. It's you walking it out, but you'll start feeling better because it's literally like you present you is being like a friend to that past you, and that past you presently in that moment is experiencing the future you, like the friend you needed, like the presence you needed for you to be able to sit and let it go and come to terms with it and understand it and realize it, right? Like nothing's wrong with you. You can express that side of you. You can move forward. Or no, don't worry about it. You are free to become this person or to make the most out of it, even though these people are saying otherwise and maybe are judging you or attacking you, because ultimately, with the wisdom or the perception you have currently, you can look back and be like, you know what, those people, they're saying that not because they actually think I'm evil or bad. They're hurt so much they can't support me in my dreams because they snuffed their dreams out or they've attacked themselves that much, and that's how they're treating themselves, their inner child or their teenage self or whatever it is, right? 41:14 on the clock. So do that, be that presence for yourself, and at the end of the day, maybe just work on the courage of like whatever you need to tell yourself to not feel suffocated by your expression. And if it is just going out on a limb and going past your fears and just doing it, the only way to do it is just do it. If it's not going back, if it's not removing people, if it's not rebuking energy that's being sent your way, or removing spirits and items that hold that type of energy in your life, it is literally you getting through the illusion of the fear and just doing it. Just like how people have stage fright and they're public speakers or something, right? Or they have severe anxiety and they still jump off a cliff with a instructor that has a parachute behind them, like tied to them, right? Really cool video of like a 40, 50-year-old woman doing that on YouTube. It's a short, and it's so heartwarming. I would never do that to treat my anxiety. She has some balls, man, to be that badly like consumed by anxiety and still jump off a cliff with a freaking guy strapped to her with a parachute. Like, I think we all could learn something from that woman. And she was making a video for her kids, right? So, yeah, it's scary, but you need to do what you need to do. We all either get like held back by our fears and inhibitions, or we work through them in whatever way we can, and then we're proud of ourselves at the end of the day and say, "Oh my God, did you see me? I don't care if anyone else saw me. I am in my body and I experienced this. I did this. I got out of my head, man. I supported myself at the heart, emotionally, at the soul, and I went through with this, like, and I've been unable to breathe for like a month, a week, whatever. Every time I would think about it, I would start almost like severely hyperventilating or something. So it's all in you. Get the support you need, do what you have to, take your time, but also take those steps. And if you need to start small and then, like pick it up, do that too. Another great example of a person that goes over their fear and it doesn't look that way, but you can hear it in, I think, some of the shorts or some of the things that he posts from the newest events of like touring and otherwise, and being on podcasts and talk shows is Mr. Ballin, which is basically a person that talks about like the strange, dark, and mysterious. And he was terrified of touring publicly and telling these stories or having interviews on podcasts with certain people. You can hear that through his voice, especially in the beginning attempts of it. But his motto is like, get through the fear, do it even if you're scared, or do something you're afraid of today. And for a person that talks about the scary horrors of life, I think that's a amazing rule of progression and excitement and growth and development that you can hear from someone that is a ex like Navy SEAL. Like, wait, no. Fuck. I can't remember. He was a freaking high tier, like, I can't remember what group, but it's a high group, like, high tier group of, like, army people, military, military men. I think it was Navy SEAL. Google it. I feel like I should know that one, but my brain is failing me on specifics and details and certain things lately, so it's fine. You can just, figure it out yourself and have that experience. I'm just making sure if this is for this reading, like the cards I'm gonna be pulling, and it looks like yeah. It looks like yeah. Two of Pentacles reversed and two of Wands upright. If that ain't talking about something so directly and synchronistic we couldn't ignore. And three off the top. Ooh, ooh. Good vibes only here. Good vibes only. And top and bottom. I mean, the top and bottom is literally talking about letting go of your reservations or your attachments to how things should be and how you should feel about things, and that you're only going to do them when you're going to be feeling this way, and that there's no other explanation or meaning in the middle of any of it, and you're going to do it regardless of like you not knowing all of the facts or things being mystical and like unclear, like you moving through with these difficulties regardless of those feelings, because it's easy to just sit there and be displeased with your circumstance and situation, right? But it is so liberating where when you take the steps you need, regardless of how you feel, especially when things aren't clearly laid out to you and you're taking that experience as you go of figuring it out instead of being held back by your fears, your inhibitions, your feeling out in the freaking cold, your heartaches of like what people have said to you or how they have possibly deceived you or put you down or made you feel insignificant and naive. Um, your luck hasn't been the best for all at all times because I feel like this is the pile of very sweet souls and very good people and very nice individuals that have a lot of backing and support from the universe. But the thing is, like, you've had the worst of the worst in terms of how people have responded to you and how they've treated you because of like your softness, but you have something more beyond it. You have a deeper understanding on things that is coming from that vulnerability of being soft or serene or innocent and pure or having a fresh pair of eyes at all times. You could be like 30 and 40 and people say like you still see things like a kid. Like you still kind of feel things about like a kid would, you know? And I feel like some of you said like, yeah, I actually heard that recently or yeah, I hear that all the time. Um but that's the magic of you. Like, I think you've become a recluse because that was the most protected spirit, like spiritually well-rounded but protected mental health and emotional place you could be at for yourself in your life, right? Otherwise, you would have had your heart on the line more so than you have already had it, and it's already been trampled. You didn't want to have it trampled even more just by being so reluctant to take the L that you just, you wear your heart on your sleeve and then you're like, I should have not done that. Like I already learned, why did I keep doing that? Why did I persist with something that wasn't working? You needed that time to heal and recuperate and come back to yourself. You needed that time to heal, but you also needed that time to gain enough confidence to come back as that fresh soul that loves and nurtures and cares and has a deep understanding, or just like a very pure-hearted interest and desire for something that most people give up on, that most people let let it become squished because, someone abused them, used them, or hurt them. Most people become hardened because one, they don't have as big of a heart as you do. You have a really big heart, or a very beautiful set of eyes and a perception and perspective that is lost to the world because everyone's like, go, 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 survive, 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 succeed, 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 business, business, business. And you're like, but what about being a poet and an artist? And what about the deeper meaning of things? What about the feelings? What do you mean? Like, we couldn't live without it. We couldn't live without the philosophy of love, or the feeling of like what emotionally drives us, what makes us cry, what makes us think deeper about things. Like, we couldn't be here if we couldn't be soft. Like, we would have already killed each other as freaking goddamn cavemen, or in Texan years, or whatever, like Wild West years. Sorry, not Texan years. It's always just like one for one for me. But Wild West years, or whatever, like it's like, why are we undermining that when that is our soul? That is our the whole reason we love, laugh, are happy, keep going for things. That's culture, that's art. That's the deeper meaning of things, is this softness and childlike nature that people stampede about and take for granted. And if they see in other people, they're like, let me suffocate it out of you so you don't have a leg to stand on, or lungs to breathe with, or dreams to have when you're asleep. I feel like you guys get that very much deeply. I do, but you also really move forward in life only through that. Like, you can't escape it, you can't run away from it. It's you, it's a part of you. You're that beautiful soul that we do need. We need artists like this. We don't need the dark philosophers that explain the freaking brutality of existence and life, and how we all should just be cold and disconnected, uncaring people that just do nonsensical things. We need people that understand the deeper meaning as well, and move forward with the vibe of actual love, or childlike fantasy and intrigue, and maybe it's just the deeper fascination, even into darker things, through understanding, caring, and love. But mostly this feels like more so like what feeds the soul, what is maybe to some fluffy wuffy, but to others it's food, it's sustenance that keeps them going, and in a whole general other scheme of things, it's not necessarily just fluffy wuffy stuff, right? It's literally it's a depth of the soul when it comes to real love and care and compassion of things. But this is like without the gruff and the tough and the whatever with it. I mean, you can have heroes that are tough through this with this, though. It's kind of like when you look at movies or in stories or in novels, right? You see people that are driven by the madness of fear, right? And then it becomes hate and despair and then abuse on others. And then you have the other side, which is the hero that never stops loving, and because of it is stronger than any other force out there. They're the most talented, they're the smartest, they're the most clever, they're the best acting, and they don't give up even when someone breaks them or tries to, because they have this infinite sense or power of love that is beyond all else. It doesn't matter where it is, what it is, how it goes, or whatever, or even if you take it away, right? There's some people that it's like most would have given up, but you didn't, even though everything got taken away from you, because you have love, because you have that much integrity and care and understanding, basically. And I feel like these are the novelists, the artists, the painters, the creators, the speakers, the readers, the sharers and entertainers that really feel that and see that, but they don't get gruffed out by the story of the hero. Rather, they are the entrepreneur of the create, like the consumer creator. They are the person that read and see this the most and the best, and they have like a infinite file cabinet or library of all of these examples of where they've seen it, and they seek it out and they build on top of it. They're like the scholar of life when it comes to the philosophy of this depth of understanding of like love conquers all. We all just need a little bit more compassion in our lives. We all just need to give into the culture of things. We need to give prosperity to the values of life, to the integrity of, community and care and trying things even if they, get a bit stampeded by people that, might take things for granted or abuse or neglect things, but like if you stop doing this, right, then you take it away from everyone everywhere, especially from the people that could benefit from this, and you take it away from people even just in general having that approach to living this way. And it's important. Like you get these things on a higher level, on a deeper level, and you're meant to stay soft. Otherwise, your wisdom and receptivity to this goes away and disappears, and the attraction that you have of people like not being able to take their eyes off you, right? It'll go away too. So stay this way. Don't give up, but you gotta be your own warrior and protector as well. And it's important for you to show up. We need evidence of this still being alive because a lot of people don't even believe in this purity you hold, and it's good that you hit it, but now it's time to come out because like it's about going with those passions. It's about letting this phase end and leaving what didn't work and the pain and the frustration that you had behind yourself and leaving it there. It's shackled. It can't follow you to the new heights that you are reaching. I think you just need to maybe take your time to process and accept this and realize the purity and the truth of your own story and the superpower that you have maintained, the superhero that you have become compared to the stories you've read or the games you've played or the movies you've watched, right? Start writing about it, start realizing the philosophy that you have to share. Start realizing what you have to show for it and stop limiting yourself by trying to balance it out with society and its expectations and what reality is about and who people say succeed and who gets the most money, who gets the girl, the boy, who gets the mansion and the everything. Like stop looking at how life really works or how society really works or what capitalism is built upon and is everywhere about or how cruel the world is or how set reality is and that it's all physical and materialistic and this and that and da da da. You have learned some things about how the world works in the darkness of it, right? In the crudeness of this is just how it's set up and who's at the top and who's at the bottom, but at the same time you can use it to your benefit to become someone above it and beyond it and share something we are really lacking, really needing, is really important. Like this energy is super important. I wish you could feel how important this is and how heartwarming it is. It's very heartwarming, it's very wholesome. It's a fuzzy feeling in the chest, and I want to cry. Honestly, that's how this energy makes me feel. You learned truth about how the world is a cold place, but you also learned truth about how the world is meant for bigger, better things, and we are fighting to come back to it. It's almost like feeling like maybe not fighting to come back to it as much as we are some more than others, yeah, but it's like we're trying to dig our way through to creating it as the baseline, but we need soft warriors, right? We need the deep thinkers, the open lovers, the real people that are gonna go out there and are not gonna hide despite like the haters and the flame and the abuse and the darkness and the, monetary like attention seeking and whoremongering of like, hey, like society is about this fast paced, like, success, ads, 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 fake news everywhere, fear, 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 rage bait, fake kindness and fake niceness. I feel like that upsets you the most, actually. I feel like hit the chord with the fake niceness part. Like, why create content that is clickbait then you're not even real and you being cute, kind, or nice about it. Just do what you're doing and be honest and real about it. But um, you deserve the success of it and the empire that you'll create from it. And the empire that you want to create from it is not necessarily to be at the head of like business. You want to be a person that just has a happy home, happy life, enough money for your food so you can take care of your dog or cat or whatever you have, and to live in a place that's not dangerous, that's not crime ridden or scary and doesn't have like toxic people everywhere or where you're constantly burnt out. You can't sleep at the right times of the day. You can't work on your own desired time frame. You can't pour into this expression as like the real full-hearted, full like artist to the max of it, you know? The empire we're talking about here is you having a steady stream of income slash multiple streams of income that helps you keep sending this message out, keep being this example for the world, keep being this flavor of entertainment, of, conversation, of speaking, of creating this like place that everyone can commune in and making it real. It's just like emotionally, you feel like such a kid and naive about it. You still feel stuck in teenage years where you were like dreaming that this would be how the world worked, and then you realize like it's not, and then you're like, what do I do in the middle of it then? I'm not cut out for this. But you are. You can do it and you can make it. You have a very sharp mind and a logical approach that is very much well suited to use the system that's against the people for your own benefit. And then you can teach other people how to do the same, how to gain that confidence to use their talents to move forward and to do the same thing as you would, um, or as you do when you have achieved this thing. Currently, you are, I feel like, working from the Page of Cups energy, which is being naive, lacking confidence, not knowing how to stand in this or your strengths or weaknesses. You don't know where you are in terms of the whole scheme of things. You don't know your worth. You haven't defined it. You're not supporting yourself emotionally enough. You feel like you just have this one vague vibe of like, serenity of like culture of love or whatever it is, or like the understanding of deeper, finer things that, make life worth living, like the pure joy of life or whatever it is. Like Insert whatever that one cup is. Like, this is the one thing I get, this is the one thing I could provide, but then you're ignoring the other side of it of like, you have a good overview, you have a good understanding, you have a etiquette, both of them anyway. And you just need to work up from, I mean, I don't know how you're gonna do this. I know you can because it's coming through in the reading, but it's like working through from the Page of Cups to tune into your King of Pentacles energy, which the King of Pentacles is it's a person that knows where to take what action when they need to gain monetary success, but it's also a person that is just safe in their own manifestation of money, of house, of car, of monetary value, of material success, or physical affluence. It is a person that basically knows what they need to do, and they do it when they need to do it, how they need to do it, and they sit royal and regal in that energy, and they don't need to overwork because they already have everything. They know what they have, when they have it, and they know when they can stop, and they know when they need to go. They're very meticulous, slow moving, and oriented to the grounded details of life. They're not up in the clouds, they're not down in their feels, they're not up in their head, they're not in general driven by anything except the concrete knowing that like what they do is valuable and it has impact, and it always comes back to them as money, as material gain. They're always good, well off, self-sustained, and they're calm, peaceful, and slow-moving about it, but they're happy. They don't really need to look at the details too much. Like, they don't need to worry about the details. They don't need to worry about what actions they're gonna take. They don't need to worry about whether they have or they don't have something. Um, Even with when things are dark or not working out, they know that they have everything they need within themselves, the wisdom, the stature, the affluence, the value. They are the value. It's not just their items and things around them. It is them. They're the value. Without them, there wouldn't be any material gain or value, even when, things are dark. But they do need to obviously be grounded in that and trust that within themselves. Otherwise, they couldn't be doing this with their eyes closed, right? You can only really be doing something with your eyes closed when you know what it is, or it's not even when you know what it is. You can have a talent and a gift that you just are so, it happens because you're confident about it, right? Because you're so definite and set about it. So this is the same thing. Get out of the lackluster, like, I don't have anything to offer, only this little thing, and I'm a little bit young, in how I think, and a little bit childish or naive, and move on to like, I got this. Like, with my eyes closed, back, like, hands behind my back. I can do this. I command it. It is happening. I know my strengths. I know how to play the field. I know how it works. Like, yeah, this is how you can use and abuse it, but this is how you can make it real through integrity and the values that I hold, that I know are long lasting, long term, slow, but steady. And who cares about the pace of it if I'm happy, if I have everything, right? I have the money, the car, the home, the people, the community, the family with it. I feel like there's a bit more truth you need to find out about your family, though. I would recommend getting other readings on the subject because we are not diving into it in this reading whatsoever, and definitely we are not. Virgo could be a uh, significant sign either in your chart, wherever it lands, or it could be that you're a Virgo. You're dealing with a Virgo. You work like a Virgo, right? And you're not actually a Virgo, but you work like a Virgo, which is disciplined, looking to the details, very much sorting out the details, having everything in a particular schedule, order, or otherwise. whatever that is, do not suffocate yourself through it though. It could be about the placement or the work etiquette. Either way, don't suffocate yourself with that Virgo energy. Get out of your head. Get out of your naive emotions. Stop feeding into your lackluster feeling of ego and start feeding into your power, your strength, your finesse, your how you're ahead of the game, even though it doesn't look that way. But if you gave into your own values and understanding, you would start seeing how, yeah, you are ahead of the game, and it's just because of what you believe in and your passions instead of like always rolling through the material way of trudging along day to day, the routine, the hardship, the heartache, having everything like falling out of your hands, trying to maintain it and look after it and balancing this with that and that with this and then what if you threw away this and that? What if you threw away the pentacles and just focus on the passion and just said fuck it to everything else? What would then happen, right? Well, you would actually start using your strength and focusing only on what you can do and how you can do it and making it real and using your potential to the fullest because you're hyper focusing on what really matters to you, not counterbalancing with things that you think are monetarily important because society says it's important or this is the only way you can get money or this is the only way you can support yourself or your family or your house or your whatever it is benefits of some sort. If those benefits are constantly spiraling out with you not having anything and you're just balancing in a balancing act all the time, is it really better than just giving up on whatever you were attached to and saying this is the thing to lead me forward because I love it because it's the thing that is actually bringing endings, right? But it's also leading me to the next stage of my life and letting me actually move the way I want, not in a fucking constant loop of infinity, things not adding up. Yeah, you don't want to sacrifice the ego here. You don't want to let go of this. Because you feel like it'll just leave you out with a worse situation than you started out with. Like, if you don't have this, you don't have anything. And it's like, if you don't have this, you don't have anything holding you back from what really matters to you and what would really motivate you. Because you don't have anything to lose by that point, right? You only have everything to gain and what you really want instead of being bogged down by these values of life that aren't actually helping you or making you happy. It's making you sick or upset or tired or overworked and just shackled to the same old, same old. And if you sacrifice it, no, you're not a bad person for it. I don't know who needs to hear that. You're just not seeing things clearly. You think what is important and you're ignoring what it is truly, which is not important. It's ready to be cut away and sacrificed, but you just don't want to accept the truth that it'll be painful and unpleasant, and you think it'll leave you out of winning or achieving in life or having things that matter to you, but they don't actually matter. It just seems that way. It's keeping you away from your potential. Your luck is great. You will achieve everything you need. You will actually be in the center with the universe, and you won't have the past nagging of people, the current societal expectations, your family expectations, the false idea of this is how you succeed, limiting you from the actual success of life, you know? Like, you need to be light to and untethered from what is keeping you back or away from these things to actually launch yourself forward towards the achievement of this. Like, if if this was the way, it would have already worked because you invested your all into this. But it's keeping you feeling like you're a kid, like you're insignificant and you can't make anything of yourself. It's not making you rich, it's making you poor in mindset, heart mentality, and everything around yourself. And if someone needs to like This is just like channeling. If someone needs to like lose you to figure their own lives out, so be it. You need to lose them to actually even be happy or healthy or to have a life that functions and works and leads you forward to where you need to be. We need you in the world to be happy, to be settled, to be abundant. Like King of Pentacles and Ten of Pentacles is a Virgo's dream here, but you gotta take it, right? You gotta freaking take it. It's like earth element would be happy in the earth element, right? But you get there through the passion, through the love of what really matters to you, putting everything else to the wayside. Cause all of it is just, yeah, it's holding you back by your feelings, by your like childlike feelings, or by what you think you care about, or it's just what makes you feel insecure, like you need to do it. Yeah. See yourself clearly, see the situation clearly. Don't get shackled down by this like societal expectation of some sort. Go forward, let it go. It'll be better for everyone. It'll give you the freedom you need to spread your wings and fly. And like hit that drum like you mean it. And be that strength for yourself. Take the accountability of being your own sustaining force to make that happy home, happy life. It's probably without these things, without these people. The things are primarily here, but the people kind of came in as a channeled thing. There's a lot of like channeled energy here. I think you got it. I don't think we need to delve into here. I think I needed to repeat myself just to make you really sit in it and feel it and be confident about it. And I'm sorry if it was unpleasant and you didn't like it, but you actually are, you have everything you need inside of yourself to be the luckiest person alive in succeeding where most poets have not. But the only reason you're not succeeding is because you're, yeah, not accepting the truth of the situation. You're not seeing yourself clearly. Um, and you've had other people imprint and suppress and make you feel insignificant and like you need them because you're like that little child that would just like burn themselves out and stay like stuck or homeless because you would just be that naive poet going for those deeper meanings of life, yet they need you in their life so they can feel the love of life. How fucked up is that, right? But if you went your way, you'd be freaking sorted. You'd see how much the universe loves you. You'd be lucky. It's just your luck is being siphoned out by these values and other things. So, yeah. I hope this helps because this was a big reading. This was a long reading. This was a good reading, though. And yeah. Go for it is my suggestion. Take your time in getting to this place where you are okay with like releasing your ego and attachment, which ego doesn't need to be abusive as well. Like, I don't know who needs to hear this. Ego is like usually understood to be this flashy, like, look at me. Like I'm the macho, I'm the, like sexy mistress. I'm the bitch in the like the bad bitch in the scenarios. I'm the power and the whatever. But ego is also like, I'm the meek one. I can't do this. I need to be there for them. I need to be their like step up. I need to be their supporter or lover or mother or whatever. I need to be their sister, their brother, their protector, their best friend, their ear, their supporter. I need to be there. I'm nothing without them. I can't support myself like they earn all the money or I can't make it big because What do I know? I'm not smart. I'm not the philosopher. What do I know? I'm not the big artist. I'm not the next Banksy. How do you know if you don't do it and try it, right? You just gotta get that healthy ego rebalanced. And a healthy ego rebalancement is either getting knocked the heck down because you're too egocentrical in a way of being abusive and um, macho-like as a woman or a man, but the other side is like you're being too meek and you need to build up your ego in a healthy sense that isn't attached to other people in a way where it's like you're their footstool or you're their people pleaser. You need to build up the backbone of you being a healthy your ego of your own, basically. Um, and not being put to the wayside as the victim, as the abusee or the follower, the sheep, and putting yourself down all the time. We all have value. None of us is like alpha and beta and all of us are who we are, and some of us are happy being like followers and all the rest, but others of us are literally being put down to not accept our power and success story. So, yeah. Sometimes I feel like I can say things like way better than I have, but I think we got there in the end, and I think the way I need to speak to things really, I think we need to take people through that tunnel so they get there in their feelings and in their own mind while they're listening, or the consciousness, aspect of whatever is transforming while you're having readings. Like sometimes it's like pulling teeth because the person listening to it is having the experience like pulling rotten teeth and then having the preparation and having better teeth put in, maybe even like golden grills or something, right? Or um, I don't know what actual teeth, like prosthetic teeth, like when they're drilled in, are like. I forget. I did hear about it, but I forget. And either way, I feel like sometimes that's just the experience we need to go through when we're listening to a reading. So we bust through those limiting beliefs and really face those confusing shadows in the nooks and crannies of our minds and the deep wounds of our hearts, right? Sometimes a reading can make you cry, and it's only by the last 5 minutes of it, or you argue with the reader until you actually get there. I heard such a weird frequency shift just for a moment. It was sharp, but thank you so much for having this long reading from me and this experience. I hope this helped you. I hope you had fun. I definitely did. I really hope you come out of your shell and you start talking. I hope that you heard this message because I felt a lot of y'all click off. I hope you came back and you listened to the end of it. If you did, it's good to take it in bite-sized pieces and take a break. For the rest of you that got too triggered, you missed out, and you lost opportunity to break through that glass ceiling. And yeah, I hope to see you famous or succeed in making your happy home and happy life and being the poet we all strive to hear or become in our own stories or find, because sometimes you gotta dig through things to become this. Sometimes you gotta dig through things to even find someone like this. And I know you'll make it when you make it. So whenever that is. Thank you. Have a good one. If you want to see more of me, there's a link tree down below. But I'm gonna tune out because I'm tired of talking on here. So I'm gonna move to pile number 3. Have a good one. Hello, everyone. I just had to have a bit of a break and wanted, for some reason in this pile, there's a few things I want to say. Hi to anyone coming from the previous pile. Hello. Hi to anyone that's been thinking about going to pile number 2. There may be a message there for you. And 3, it's a foggy, lazy vibe day in where I am today, and I don't know why I said that. But You just gotta do what feels right when you're a tarot reader or a spiritual healer or a worker of, just consciousness and conscious, I don't know, exchange of some sort or reality manifestation or if you believe in telepathy and everything being connected and all the rest and all the whatevers. Why? I just see Smurfs on my PC and it's super jarring to me. I guess this pile is the synchronicity pile, is how I'm gonna look at it. We also did have this in the previous pile, which is just reassuring me of like the whole like, hey, the connection between the two for some reason. This could be just like, I like how like they flip today. They literally just jump out like bloop bloop bloop. To people that are coming from the previous pile, I feel like this is gonna elaborate on the feeling of being stuck or like you can't get out of where you are because you feel literally like you'll get hit over the head. There's a saying that I heard when I was in music school and I was like, if you lived my life, you fucking would know that that is not true, but whatever. Which was like no one's gonna hit you over the head for making a mistake. No one's gonna hit you over the head for trying. And the I'm not gonna share why I was upset about hearing that saying, but if you're a person that has had experiences like that, you know 'cause you know. But we're gonna move on. So, yeah, I'm giving space to the people that are watching this that have had basically experiences of like I need to quickly preface this. If you feel like we're in the middle of a conversation, that's just for people with the connection to pile two. If you're just watching three just to watch three and that's just you, then this is still your pile. Don't worry. This is gonna possibly just feel like a middle of a conversation because of that reason. But moving on, yeah. If you're feeling like you can't get lucky for trying, if everything you try and do just always backfires, if you feel like you're held hostage by your circumstances and always feel like, you're resting on your laurels or like you keep not having energy to go forward with because you need to gain that energy and then you just can't because you keep like resting on zero. It's kind of like a battery that's messed up in a phone, or like, when your phone used to be able to hold like 5 days or a week even, or maybe 3 days at the minimum, right? And you like constantly use that motherfucker. Like there's no tomorrow, like you're connected to your phone. It's like you constantly have it in your hand. But now it doesn't even go through the day. It doesn't have half a day of like energy and other things. And it's not you having your phone tapped, it's actually like your battery's fucked. Or maybe it is, like some background applications that shouldn't be there are draining it, right? It's kind of like either or you don't feel like you can create the change or the breakup, you keep trying to resist everything falling apart in your life because you just feel like things are just going to fall apart and you will never get up. Like, you don't have the luck and the luxury of things working out for you in your life. You are cursed. You are just that person that needs to suffer. You've been through enough, but you are still going through enough. And you stay positive and you try and be nice and you try and be kind, but things just don't work out. And you don't want to feel like things are even more out of control than they have been for you. Sorry, I just need to quickly do a thing because my neurospicy brain is annoying the fuck out of me about it. I'm sorry. So I thought I wasn't gonna talk about it, but I am gonna talk about it, and I'm very much gonna like just be blasting these details here because this is the most interrupted pile. Um, it's kind of like I keep needing to do self-care things. I needed like I need moisturizer, which I'm actually gonna have like lip balm right now. I needed to turn on. not turn on, light a freaking candle. I needed to light a freaking candle. Um, I needed to rearrange things in my house. It's like my freaking neuro brain is really like firing off here. And I'm very much like having distractions and whatever. And I don't actually have anything officially said to be a condition of mine, but I sympathize with people that have significant things happening to them with conditions or whatever, because I have things that you could say are a thing, but they're so mild that I couldn't ever get diagnosed, and I'm thankful for that. But it's like I have an obsessive brain. I have like a brain that really digs into details. I have the perfectionism thing. I have like very much a finicky thing. I can't sit still. Like I have things, but it's not about me. The point is in this energy, there's just a lot of that happening. And it's just really much burning me up. It's like, oh, it's like when I get super particular about my OCD or details to have a certain way, and I can't continue doing what I need to do because I need to do it that way first, or I need to do that thing first. And it's not constant for me, like people that actually have the disorder. It's just sometimes I really have a bad, 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 bad time where I need to have the house like sterile or looking sterile by other people's means and terms, but for me, it's just like it's tidy. It's just clean, and orderly. And here, it's like it's really flaring up the discomfort. So I feel like you guys might be in a very uncomfortable feeling currently right now, but in your life in general, you might have just not had things work out or be good or happen the way they need to happen, and you just think that that's just you. Like your life is stressful, things don't work out, and you constantly need to rest and do self-care and take care of the small details, and you keep getting distracted and you keep being pushed. And it's like you're managing everything all the time, all the time. You can't breathe. You always like are go, go, go. Everything's always burning, everything's always going. And if that doesn't happen, maybe that you've had a period of time like that, or you feel like if you did a change that would be actual self-care, and it doesn't seem maybe like self-care to you. Maybe it looks like or sounds like abuse of a situation in terms of like towards another person, right? You'd be leaving them out to dry. Maybe you feel like what would be self-care for you that isn't self-care in your eyes would be selfish, would be would be irresponsible, would be it feels like it just would be mentally unhealthy, socially irresponsible, or would be your neurological quirks, or it would just be your quirks coming through, and it would be unhealthy. And it's very hard to dig into this, but I'm trying to look into it the best I can. And I feel like this is actually like us talking about it is healing this, because my my whole chest is just like steaming. I am heating up. Like legitimately, I am sweating out of nowhere, like really bad. My whole torso is like sweating. I feel shaky. I feel a little bit anxious. It's not bad, like don't worry about me. I'm here for it. I feel like you guys have had more of this or worse encounters and experiences, and you haven't had the attention you need. You haven't had the chance to look after yourself. You're constantly running, you're constantly going. Everything's falling apart. Your health might have been in and out all of your life, especially recently, because it's like the universe is pushing you to make the decision you need to do what is right for you. Fuck the consequences. Fuck the fucking people around you. Fuck you saying, and I'm sorry, I'm saying this with respect, it's just the energy is coming across this way from guides and the universe and etc. Like, fuck you thinking that it's your fault for being unhappy and then having these neurological breaks. Or you just putting it down to being mental health issues and like maybe your neurological quirks or even just your personality quirks and you being weird or quirky or out of the norm or uncommon like or not the real like normal basis of society is how it feels like as if you're wrong for being who you are. And it's like, no, you're not. You're beautiful the way you are. Who cares? Like, you shouldn't feel mentally ill all the time or neurally, like, unhinged, neurologically unhinged. Like, you need to keep doing things just to get on by. I feel like this is digesting some shit. Or feeling like you're bad for being unwell because you're having to maintain other people or keep up things that are not good for you, that are not serving you. And it's like some of y'all are screaming or saying, like, I don't know how to get out of this, or I don't know what else to do, or I don't know who else I am if not for this disability, um, for this thing that has been labeled by other people in society to be lackluster, unhealthy, insignificant, insecure, a burden, or a mental health issue and that you're just a problem that way or you're supposed to feel insecure because you're a problem for other people or you're bad in it or something like you're a problem is what's coming across. You're like a foot that everyone gets tripped over or they can't live their lives because you are this way. And it's like, no, there's something here making this a reality and it's not your reality. Maybe you are quirky, maybe you are different, maybe you are weird, maybe you are this, maybe you're that, but you're certainly not a burden, a disgrace. You're certainly not a person that can't take care of themselves because you can, you fucking can. You just don't want to make those choices because I'm sorry for this reading because I feel like it's intense. It's not your fault if you need to do what you need to do to be healthy, to be happy, and it's going to be weird. It's gonna be off. It's gonna be whatever. It's gonna put some people in their place. It's gonna give into your uniqueness of some sort of neurodivergency or whatever, right? Or you being mean or rude or disconnected from others or self-centered, right? Then go ahead and fucking do it. If it's gonna turn your life upside down, but you're gonna take the thing that's gonna actually make you happy, make you feel like you are looked after, it's gonna force you to look after yourself in the way you need to be looked after and not by the terms of normalization or society, go do it. I feel like when I said sorry, I lost the energy of it or the point of it. But I feel like we're gonna build up to it, so it's fine. It's kind of like when you have this moment. I am so sweaty. It's kind of like when you have this moment of like you can tell the person straight up the honesty, and then you black out. You just blank, and you're like, I'm gonna say this thing, like 'cause I feel like this might be a little bit of what I wanted to say, but it's not the full truth. And I'm just going to go ahead with it because it's the closest to a response I have currently. And then I'm going to sugarcoat it and put it down because I don't want to offend them and I don't want to put them down and I don't want to like make them unhappy and this and that and whatever. I feel like me channeling this energy is a proper example of like what you've been going through most of your life. If not, it's gotten worse over tens of years. It was like a little bit weird when it was like you were 10. It got really weird and abusive when you got into your 20s, and in your 30s, you became labeled as this or that and whatever. And it's like if everyone held back themselves and were like cutting pieces of themselves off and putting themselves into boxes they didn't fit all their life to this extent, they all would be unhealthy, ill-ridden, mentally unhealthy, and categorized as like disabled or loony, or would start their body would start rejecting them and would actually start creating illnesses. And a lot of us do that to ourselves along the way in life in certain parts. um, but if you have a consistent life of this, it can help, it can create irreversible traits, and you just keep being attached to the thing that is actually making you feel this way. Like, let's say if you're gonna have a well-rounded, unique person that's, opinionated in the ways that society usually doesn't see them as opinionated, as a well-rounded, successful person, right? But they're fine. They take care of themselves, even if it's in a unique way. But then you put them next to a person that constantly shames them, constantly puts them down for it, constantly says that they're this, they are that, right? And they're married to them, or that they have those types of parents, right? Then that person is literally going to become that person. They're going to be twitchy, they're going to be nervous, they're going to be like what's the word? Hyperventilating is what I just like showed the example of, but like asphyxiated, there we go. They're gonna maybe develop fucking asthma when they goddamn don't even fucking have it. And they're going to become that skittish person, right? Like they were fine, but then they got married to this abusive asshole, and then they became scared of loud noises because every time he would come back, she would come back, he would smack the door and yell and scream and then start throwing fucking um, plates around and glass around, right? And you, what happens? They are so toxic that the environment around them needs to change. You start getting plastic plates. You start getting addictions. You start getting antidepressants. You start going to therapy. And even after the breakup, you might still have like certain experiences you need to work back from. And you've been living for life with this person. I'm still goddamn sweating. We're healing some shit in this pile. This is, I'm so sorry for everything you went through, because this is like multiple abusive family members, partners, um, being categorized as insane, neurologically imbalanced, physically disabled, and never having rest. And never being so scared that you don't take what you need to take or do what you need to do to be safe, to look after yourself, to be mean, to be rude, to close that door, to set that boundary, to cause that absolute fucking tower to destroy that other person, not because you want to, not because like that's what you desire and you don't want to hurt them, right? Especially if there's someone you freaking loved and looked after or looked up to, and then you were like, you're my friend too, right? Like you're my protector, you're my parent, you're my partner, you're my spouse, right? You're my best friend or this or that for years and years, right? It's like you don't want to do that, but like to what point do you need to stand up and say damn no and let it all fall apart on all of them, hit them everywhere it hurts and drag them down to their own despair that they've been creating everywhere around them, instead of you literally becoming insane, skittish, and so unhealthy and repressing so much emotion that you literally are manifesting multiple illnesses like thyroid imbalances, hormonal imbalances, um, losing hair, becoming so severely overweight, or developing muscle joint tendon, and maybe like severe main organ issues and failures, right? And it's not even you, it's the intense stress of constantly being around people like this and living this life and then having to look after them in response and love them and not being able to stand your ground and stand up for yourself and be happy. And you feel like that's what you deserve, that's your life, that's your luck, that's who you were meant to be, and that's all you're ever going to be. And God forbid you speak out of line and say otherwise. God forbid you stand up and say no more. I'm gonna go away, live my life, and let karma eat your ass up and send you to hell because that's what you did, not what I want to do to you. That's what you did. That's what you created. That's what you put everyone else around you through. Like people in that situation, like, they usually try and help or minimize the abuse and the issues and the harm. They try and change those people so they become more of love, but it doesn't really happen now, does it? I'm so shaky. I'm so shaky. Yeah, you can't see it. Okay. It got a bit easier just now. Because I think the cogs started turning on the truth and point that leaving for your own safety, benefit, or health is gonna actually out of nowhere switch your brain and turn your talents and abilities and capabilities on, your attractiveness, your other factors of that on, and you're gonna be able to sustain yourself, to look after yourself, to actually make something of yourself, to go on beyond the limits of fear. But you are, through doing that 1:44:44 on the clock as I say this, you are going to create a humongous tower moment for this person, but everyone around them too, and everyone involved in the situation. Because as although some of them might have also been victims to this person, some of them just let them have their way as well. Instead of standing up and doing something or being an example or otherwise moving on from the circumstance, right, or challenging it, they just rolled over and let it happen. And then they saw the person that would be, i.e., you, I feel like in this scenario. I don't think it's anyone else. Maybe there's one other person that suffered worse than you, but in comparison, like, you would be like the person that would suffer the most, right? And they didn't do anything because they needed a scapegoat. They were like, if you're not in this seat and you're not having this experience, the next runner up is me, and the next runner up after that is this person. And this person, if they're the second, they'll believe me as being the only person, and I can't have that. So for us all to be in this circumstance, we're gonna let you suffer as much as you can, so we're safe, and we're just gonna do other toxic things against us and each other. And this is just going to be a cesspool of this like abusive train wreck of like attachment. And like, this is how fucked up families continue on just staying families and being families, because one person is holding the whole thing together through loving everyone, and everyone else is just being avoidant, toxic, and not taking responsibility or accountability, not supporting each other, ignoring the issues, and then just like going on their own merry way, way far away, being like whatever best success story they could amount to, instead of actually coming through and being like honest, real, or fighting for a cause, or speaking against this, or saying like, you need to get the hell out, like, you save yourself, do this, do that, whatever. If you stand up for yourself, your whole entire luck is gonna change. This is not what you deserve. This is not where you should be going. This corn card is is underneath the Five of Pentacles, is a sign of like, if you went into your own church and stood by it, the devil could not come into the church, one. Two, you'd be safe from the elements, even though maybe you'd have just enough, right? Like churches, the real ones that aren't just like money mongering, they have enough food, they have enough like places to sleep, they have education even where you can grow, right? Like monks were the only educated sort back in the day. They were the only ones that could read in the fucking village and whatever and write and all the rest, even though it was like limited. But they could compared to other people, right? If you went into the church, you'd be protected from the elements. you'd have what you need. The devil couldn't chase you into it, and you actually would start having your own harvest. You actually would start having your own sense of ability or abundance, just having enough to not just only get by, but to just actually relax and be happy about what you actually have, to be self-sustained and to reap your own abundance, rewards, your own success, your own prosperity. You would just be sorted and you could go forward with it. But you're not taking that action because it's scary, because you would be seen as a predator. You would have backlash. They would go at you for everything you have. They would use and abuse you more than they ever have. They would actually put all of it into, like, all of those years would be squished into a moment, and they would throw it as hard as they could into you, at you. So if you don't do this right, by detaching, cutting all the cords, removing all the items, all of the sentiment, all of the love, all of the care that's leaving you open and unguarded or vulnerable to this attack, and you go out and do this, you're not gonna, yeah, you are going to fumble and fall. But if you do this right, if you do disconnect, if you do take care and say no here, remove that. Oh, this is, leaving me vulnerable. This is making me insecure about this. This is making me feel guilty about taking this opportunity or chance. And this is making me feel bad about standing up for myself, for being that predator, right? Then you're going to be able to do it. You're going to bulldoze through this and you're going to just swoop in, swoop out. You don't need to do this for long. Like, you don't need to prepare for war. You just need to be good enough in a place of like detachment, looking after yourself, getting the resources in order to get the hell out of Dodge, and then swoop in, swoop out. And then just keep flying. Just keep flying, flying, flying. Don't look back, don't look back. Just keep going, right? But you gotta get it sorted. Like, an example I'm seeing is like a mother in the middle of the night knowing, like, okay, if I do this with this emotion and face, I'll be good. I need to get rid of all of these photos because that's a sentiment of mine. I'm going to do this in the middle of the night when he is out on work duty or leave or whatever, this specific day, because he works for 12 hours, not the 5 and the 8. I'm gonna get Susie and Mark sorted out. I'm gonna pre-pack their luggage. I'm gonna tell them to shut the fuck up. I'm gonna explain to them on the way what's happening, and I'm just gonna get everything in the middle of the night, and we're just gonna leave. We're just gonna run, and we're not gonna leave any trace of any of this. I won't feel guilty. I won't feel ashamed. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm gonna go, so he doesn't come at me or follow me, and he's not gonna affect my family, or she's not gonna affect my family, because men can go through this too. It's not just women. Anyone, gender inclusive, exclusive, whatever you're on about, but you need to make that choice. Otherwise, you are going to be in this loop of constantly being used and feeling this pressure, like you can't get up and you can't get ahead, and you keep looking over to the greener side of, the fence, or greener pastures, daydreaming about it, and constantly needing to rest and recuperate and hide and stay away and not like move things too much. You don't deserve this. This isn't your luck. Your luck is actually abundance if you just get rid of this. If you go away, if you leave all of this, if you say no and you let them fucking die in that tower they built. Because this is not your foundation. This is not your tower. And they need to experience what they have created. The karma, like what you are feeling, right? That's literally what they need to go through, but they keep avoiding it and they just keep shoving it in your mouth. Like they just keep shoveling, 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 and then they make you feel like you're the problem and you deserve it and just take it. And they just keep doing it. And you deserve so much better, man. Man, ma'am. Curse! Literally not surprised. Wild woman. Yeah, you're afraid. Like, what if I'm just worse or just as bad as them? Like, what if I can't? What if I'm too un untamed, unsavory? If I'm not put together enough? What if I'm just like naive and in my head about this? What if, it's not as bad as it seems, which is actually a abusive trauma response in Stockholm syndrome to significant like codependent, abusive, like trauma bonding and all the rest. That's it's a high level of not good. Yeah, what if I can't make it through? And it's like, yes, you can, but you do need to allow yourself to speak out, be that person, stand up, run away in the middle of the night, whatever it is, you need to do what is that self-care aspect and just go for it and not look back. And don't pity the fool that's literally kept you binded to this and made you feel like you're the curse or you're cursed and you can't win for trying when you have been their backbone for confidence and everything. They've put you down just so they can feel better. And if this is love, I wouldn't want any fucking bit of it. Why should we feel abuse for the family that we live with, that we love? Why should we feel abuse off of anyone we love? Is that really worth it? Regardless of blood bond or not. I don't care if you're like family, twin flame, or spouse or otherwise. Even children. There's a really messed up story on some kids being like straight up the out the gate like abusive on their parents, and it's just, how are you born this way? Very rare, very, very rare, very rare. And usually the parents still go through what they need to go through up until like the kids like teenager or mature enough to stand on their own feet, right? But it can get really extreme. It can get really extreme. And at the end of it, regardless, why should there be abuse in love and you just taking that abuse because of that love, right? Like, how is it okay that family creates this feeling of tradition and obligation and connection through having one, two people that either use and abuse, or one, two people that are the absolute like stools and victims and bottoms of the whole family dynamic, keeping everything else up by being like, the yeah, the brunt of it. It's not okay. It is not okay. And if you need to get help, seek help. If you need to get the authorities in, get the authorities in. Do what you need to. As extreme, as big as whatever it is, I don't care. In this scenario, you deserve to get out and to live happy. Luminous Warrior is just convincing it. Take that action. Be strong in it. Go forward with it. Do not look back. Don't be afraid. This is the whole like position you're in. This is like sink or swim. This is the balancing act you've been doing on a literal like knife point, always falling down to the side that doesn't serve you, and you don't need to even be on the knife of it, you know? Like, if this reading has given you any sort of acknowledgement, comfort, if you feel seen, if you feel heard, if you feel at all supported, or if you at all feel any elevation or impulse to try something out, or you have ideas what you could do to look after yourself and to get into a position where you are not a victim of this anymore, go for it, take it, make the most out of it. Don't go back, don't fall down, don't get insecure. Keep on going. Take everything you can get from this reading to make that decision, because this is severe. This is really, really severe, and this is really not good. And from a perspective that I understand, if you're like very, very neuro spicy, as people say, or you're a very, very significant like empath and very caring or very sensitive, you can get so ill through this, you literally die. You literally die. And I'm not saying that lightly. Illness and how it works and all the rest, like I have my own understanding. Science will say its own things, and I don't really care about it. But I'm talking about the point that you can feel so much mental, emotional, and subconscious pressure and abuse for years ongoing that some people literally turn to addictions and kill themselves over it. But other times, when you're just a sensitive, or when you're just um, neurodivergent and you can't close yourself off the same way other people to cope through the same things, right? You literally start developing illnesses, and even people that aren't like neurodivergent, they can develop cancers over this. They develop cancers. They develop chronic illness and chronic pain that doctors cannot save. They cannot figure out, they don't know the root cause of it, and they don't even know how to treat the symptoms of, and the person that's suffering just keeps on suffering for years until it gets the best of them and you lose your whole life over it. And the thing you need to do is straight up staring you in the face, and you don't do it because of trauma bond and codependency, not understanding that you just need to make a few changes and choices and realizing that will change your whole fate, fortune, and it will lead you away from someone you thought you loved, but maybe, maybe you even do love them after understanding this darkness about them, but like, is it really worth it? Medicine wheel, as we're talking about medicine and health, it comes full circle. It catches up with you. It catches up with you, and it's essential to take that action. Like, people that are in these positions don't understand that there's not one way to making life right, keeping your family around, or to being a good person. Like, you shouldn't be a subject to these experiences just because you have a heart and everyone else around you doesn't. That just means you need to go into a hospitable environment that is tending to your needs. 222 on the clock as I'm saying this, and also we're at 2 hours. Like, you deserve to be in a place that actually sustains you, supports you, feeds you, and helps you grow and not become sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker each and every year. Hummingbird on hummingbird as well. Look, you're gonna have a lot of abundance. You just need to be certain on your actions and your choices and doing it, and that you're okay for doing it. You're a good person. You're a survivor. The world doesn't want to see you suffer. The universe doesn't want to see you be this way. Usually, what happens when you need to get out of these type of circumstances, you make those choices, you go on and move on and do them, but then after that you have success, or you need to detach from that energy in every way, right? Like, you need to not have their spirit attached to you, their energy attached to you. You need to get rid of the items you have from them. Um, so that stench of them doesn't follow you. You need to energetically keep them away. Do maybe prayer, connect with your guardian angels, connect with God, whatever you believe in as a higher force that could protect you, maybe the universe at large, and move far away, go into a new place, have that success of like the abundance of that new place, the money of that new place, that new home. Maybe you don't get everything, right? But it's better than being where you were. Maybe you only have one room and everything else is kind of crap, but it's good enough. You have the necessities to live. You have the food, you have the hot water, you have like the bed, you know, whatever it is. Maybe the apartment complex has like something running around in it, but it's not disease ridden and it's not all full of pests or whatever. It's just not as nice as you had it first as you're moving along to a better experience. Like the example I gave of that mother, right? They sleep out in like a motel for a few days before they actually find that other place that they can start settling into. And it is a case of like throughout that transition, it is about gaining confidence and peace and trusting in that and disconnecting from everything about that other person, the fear that they instigated, or the anxiety and the panic of like the internal attachment that they've created within that person and those people, right? It has to be a continuous journey of liberation and moving towards that in physical reality, not just you running away to a physical reality thing and then hoping it's okay and then being suffocated by that idea. And lo and behold, for some reason, they're knocking on your door again. They somehow found you, right? Or vice versa. They're like trying to, instigate fear into you and you can't move away because of it, or whatever it is. Like, it is a consistent, like, you need to keep going, you need to keep trusting the process and the universe in going away from this, and you will be supported, you will be rewarded. But you need to be that warrior that takes everything into account, says no, takes flight for your own well-being, understands the value, the deeper meaning of it, makes it like worth it. You are worth it. Brainwashing yourself to be like, no, I deserve better, and I'm taking those choices and chances and doing it in the way that really feels right, and then being practical about that approach and knowing that you will be supportive through your expression of you deserve better, your needs are this, you are going to make it real, and this person is not healthy for you, and they are the reason you are sick, they are the reason you are unhealthy, they are the reason you feel insane, they are the reason you feel what you feel. And if you don't want to feel that way, don't have them around and feel a different way. Gather up the resources and the courage you need to make this transformation. That's literally what the cards are saying. Gather the resources, look at the opportunities, look at the signs, look at the choices, start browsing new houses, start browsing new like rent options, start browsing new job opportunities, start browsing how much it's going to cost you to travel there, start browsing like who would you need to cut out because they're a connection to that person, right? Maybe you can't be talking to their friend Joe no more, or you can't talk to your neighbors who they were your friends for a while, right? Maybe you can't talk to the rest of the family just because of this one person. You gotta leave all of them behind and let them like be in this toxic dynamic and not look back, because you'll start feeling guilty and ashamed and like you did the wrong thing, or you were the abuser, not the victim. Do what you need to make this decision and just get away from this. Do whatever you need to, everything you need to, just do it. Just do it. Your luck will turn around and you will be the happiest you've ever been. You will live the life you always wanted. Everything will work out for you and nothing will take it away. This person will not be able to come with you, but you need to start doing it right now, or I'm gonna be real, in the next cycle change, whatever that is for you. It could be a year from now, it could be a season, it could be a moon cycle, it could be a birthday that is coming up for you. It could be whatever it is, right? If you don't do it by the next cycle, and I think you guys know what that next cycle is, and I heard unanimously like we do, you will be stuck in this for a bit longer, and some of you way longer. Some of you bit longer, some of you way longer. If you still can't do it, like no one's shaming you, no one's guilting you. It's just maybe you just needed this conversation to become that aware and to move on. Maybe some of you are fighting it like they're not that bad. Everyone says that. But like honestly, this is your push. You can do it. This is your support. If you feel at all like that, go with it. Go with it. Go with it. Go with it. If you can't, if you don't, I'm sorry. Take whatever time you need to realize this. Maybe be open to the truth of it. I don't think you're on this reading for a coincidence if you stuck around this far. It was a fucking intense ass reading. I'm so sorry for all of you that resonated with this message. I hope you take your own health and life into your own hands and cut this off. Cut this whole place, people, family member away. and not look back. I hope you take the necessary precautions and time to be safe, to look after yourself, to do this right in the right way for you, um, to search for those options and chances, and to not be open to their manipulation or spying of any sort. As I feel like this is as toxic as like a person literally having their eye on you for everything or feeling so confident that you won't run away that they already have ways of how they keep tabs on you and they've always kept tabs on you. If it's not spiritual, I'm so sorry that it is physical stuff like microphones, bug trackers, your phone bills, utility bills, internet. I don't know what they do, but yeah, they keep an eye on you and you might need to be like sneaky about this. And if you don't need to be sneaky about it, you might still need to stay in where you're uncomfortable to move out. If you are struggling with mental health or health issues, try and create boundaries or whatever and trick them or something into being like, oh, I'm still unwell or otherwise. But I think like energetically, if you commit to this idea, you're gonna instantly start feeling better. Some of you started feeling better throughout this reading or are feeling better right now, and you don't understand why did you stop coughing? Why did your lungs become free of like the phlegm or the pain that you've been feeling? Why, why do I feel better physically out of nowhere, not just maybe mentally or emotionally? It's because you've already shifted onto this timeline or to this focus and approach that I'm doing what's best for me and I'm not letting this suffocate me and break me down and pull me down and kill me from the inside out. I'm not attached to this, I'm not subscribed to manifesting this or being attached to this person. You've already done something that has freed up your energy from their grasp. And it might be that they're manifesting this for you so they keep you down, but it could be you're manifesting, your body is rejecting this whole scenario so much, but your mind's saying no, that your body is breaking down. I don't know exactly the scenario, but I think you're gonna figure it out or you've figured it out already. So if you really want me to do a reading on this, it's probably gonna pop up in one of my readings where it's like, what are you afraid of? Or what's holding you back, or maybe I should do a reading of like why do you feel ill at one point. I mean, I'm gonna do all questions, so there might be a reading following this that might support you in the process at some point. So, and if you want a follow-up reading, just say like pile 3 follow-up reading, please. I need a break after this. Thank you so much for having a reading for me. I really do hope this helps you. I really, really wish the very best for you, and may God protect you and be with you through your journey and all that you go through. And may you find your own leadership and confidence in moving away and doing what is right for you to protect your health, sanity, and well-being and live the bestest of lives that you are meant to live, to make your own choices, to be your own free agent, disconnected from whoever you are attached to and conjoined by the hip by and thinking that you need to be there for or you are too scared to go against. No one's worth this. You're worth way much more and way better. But I'll leave it at that. If you want to see more of me, you can click down below in the link tree and see how you can follow me there, or, support in likes and otherwise. And I'll see you in the next reading. Ta-ta. Have a good one. Hello, pile number 4. Welcome in. Let's get to it. Uh, you got the Seven of Pentacles, and we're gonna read some more tarot and see what this is about. But I think you're waiting for harvest to happen, and you're not having it yet, and you're kind of like done with the process. Like, will I ever get lucky? Because I planted so many seeds so many times, so many. I've tried so many options. I've done it so many ways, so many times. I've never given up, and I keep on doing it and keep on doing it. And I don't do the thing where it's like, oh, repetition is the point of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, thinking you're gonna get a different result. It is more so talking about how you've done so many different things so many times and you've been realistic. Like, you are not a person that has been wishy-washy or whatever. You've been practical, you've been realistic, you've been on point. You've done what was necessary. You know what I mean? Mm. Yeah, I mean, if we needed any more evidence on what I just said about you not being wishy-washy and you taking direct action, I don't know what else would have popped out. And it is literally King of Cups reversed and the Emperor, which is the equivalent of what I just said. You are a person of action, you are practical, you're down to earth, you're materialistically driven or physically driven. Like, you know that everything, like, yeah, things become real because first they are real in our minds and our hearts, and then we make them a reality, right? But reality also just happens on its own accord of like the manifestation of the physicality, the accumulation of physical points or whatever you want to call them. And you are a very much practical person oriented by all of that. You could be an Aries. I don't know, that just came through. I don't know, Aries energy is strong. Maybe you're just like a hard worker. Maybe you're just very set and focused. Maybe you just go, go, go and do, do, do. Whatever it is, yeah. Well, why? I'm sorry, I'm just confused. Where the hell did the relationships come in from here? Something about relationships. Maybe you haven't. Oh, you might have sacrificed relationships, and I just hear someone like talking to me while I'm doing this reading as well, as most of the readings have had that with me today. But it was like, yes, like you've sacrificed relationships to get ahead in life and your career and practical desires, and you don't regret it, but you're also kind of like, that was a hard decision to do, like, and in career a lot of the time it is between relationships and personal life, right? Or career and practical resources and the results of that. um yeah, you don't hold yourself back at all whatsoever, and you don't threat over this, but sometimes you have doubt, like, is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? Because you kind of hyper focus. You kind of, maybe that's why the Aries came in. You hyper focus. You stay at one thing. You don't shift. You don't change trajectory. You just keep on doing. Just keep on doing, and you don't let yourself grieve. You don't let yourself fall down. You don't let yourself emotionally come to doubt. You mentally look at the point that it hasn't succeeded, and then you're like, is this working? But in terms of personal determination, you go forward, you do things, you just go, 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 and do, do, do. And you focus on the practicality of things, on the results, on taking proper action, and on staying like clear-headed, not having nothing tamper with it, neither relationships nor your personal feelings, not your anxieties, not your insecurities, not anything. You just focus on staying confident and focused on this one thing. But then, one, you haven't had authority figures. You haven't had like, I wanted to say authority figures, but I'll say it in another way. You haven't had like, let's say, people that are execs, recruiters, investors, um, high-end, like, people that are kind of there to either say yay or nay, support you. Like, they haven't given you the green light on things. Like, you haven't gotten that job, you haven't gotten through that office manager, you haven't gotten through that um, work veteran, you haven't gotten through that CEO or exec, you haven't had support from them, you haven't had handouts, you haven't had raises, you haven't had anything on the sorts, and you've done what is said in the business world or career or work to be the right head on your shoulders, the right approach, the right know-how, the right do it, you know? Um, but you just haven't had results in it. But you have built up your own security and empire in a way that is unseen. Maybe you don't have a lot, but you always have what you need to keep on doing this. You always have the money to reinvest in yourself. You always have the better quality or mid-level quality things compared to other people that are struggling to even have the beginner items in this work area or this project that you are creating, right? And so you have what you need to keep going and doing, but you don't necessarily have the success of it being self-sustainable or the success of you getting monetary return and profit enough for you to reinvest fully, completely. But you yourself were sorted, one, for the experience you're getting within this, two, for the investments and the monetary stuff that you're pulling aside for yourself, right? Or how you get the resources you need to keep pursuing this, you're okay in those things. You are self-sustaining. You have been your own handouts, is how it's coming across. But you have also needed to sacrifice a lot of things to even be in that decision position, right? And it's kind of sad for you. Because it's like you keep trying to get to the result and the situation, and you keep missing the mark or something. And it's like, should I just leave this and go away, or should I just keep on with it? Like you don't know the answer here. You just don't know the answer here because like you've sacrificed so much. It's hard to see where you're at after being at this for so long. So long. Which deck are we going for, guys? Which one? You're make up your mind. Okay. I mean, I have like a lot of things in my head and my opinions, but they are my opinions. That's why I'm not voicing anything. If it was like actual energy to channel the truth of it, I would tell you. But currently, I think some of you might be returning like viewers, and you're kind of like, how are you so silent? Sometimes you are, but most of the time you have already information to pull on, and it's like this time I don't because I'm stumped as you are. Like I can see your character, I can see the story on the table, but to the result or the recommendations from Spirit, I am as stumped as you are, so huh. Okay. Okay, so you've done everything right. You've moved in the right direction. You've done everything right, is how it's coming across. The thing that's coming through is like, yeah, the top and bottom of the deck is also clarifying the same thing. And so the beloved and the blade, and it's a five and a six. So that's talking about the progression. So leave it on the table. I didn't really want to, but it's they're saying leave it on the table and let the numbers come through too. So you have a lot of like single digits, which is interesting. Like one, three, five, six, seven. So you have five, six, seven. So it's like you have a good time or a success like in starting going through the middle of it, and then at the end it's like no dice, no profit. the thing that's coming across is like your etiquette is good, the practical side of it is right, and it's all right, but your mental state and emotional state is lackluster because you're such a practical, cold person that's just oriented at facts and points and 22222 and 44444, I mean, on my clock, but like you're oriented in the details, in the results, in the profit, in the numbers, in the practicality of it. You're not oriented by the mind or the heart of it, so you're not willy-nilly or washy, about it, and you don't get blinded by your own ambitions or desires or wants. But the thing is, this is like there's an energy manifestation thing where subconsciously I think you're such a hard worker because something happened in your childhood that was offensive, that someone was like undermining you or told you would never become this thing. That's a stupid dream, or who are you to think so big, or like ha 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 ha, look at you thinking about that. What are you talking about? And it really hurt you. It stuck out, and you consciously made the right decision. You became this strong character that always does what they need to, and in a way, you always get what you want. But it's like when it comes to the big, big high-end success, you don't get it. You get everything that you need. You don't get the success, the dream, right? You don't get the real stuff you're aiming for because it's a case of like while it created this ambition, this drive in the forefront of you, right? I need to mention the point that I saw like a glimmering light behind the camera as if someone's sitting in the chair. So if you have like a shadow or a chair where you feel like someone's sitting all the time or some glimmer of light at the corner of your eyes, and there's something to do with that for you, maybe you feel like it's a guide or an ancestor of yours, it's just confirming that. But coming back to what I was talking about your ambitions and whatever, it created this etiquette and this drive and focus and practicality of you, practical side, right? Because it took away the dreaminess of it, the ambition, the love, the charisma, the care, the like woo, like the fire of going here, and it made you go like, okay, if you're gonna react that way, I'm gonna prove it to you by being as real as possible, as set as possible, as physically concrete as possible, and you will not take this away from me. And the thing is, like, it took away a part of what is needed in the formula. We need the self backing. We need the drive and ambition of the dreaminess of it. We need the emotional, like, fulfillment and prosperity of taking that journey, of succeeding in it, or just believing in ourselves and believing in that probability, right? The idea of it is one, and we can manifest it in our minds and then make it a reality in the physical reality. But really, a big component of what drives it as well is our willingness to play with life in that childlike manner where it is a dreamer dreaming something true and real. It is bringing it into reality by the heart of it, by the concrete truth that you believe in it and you are fired up and you are gonna make yourself become that person or be that person just because of your reluctance to um, give up or reluctance to disbelieve in what you are passionate about or what you gain strength from, right? There's something in your mind that literally is a stuck belief. Like it's the shock, it's the feeling of like the crushed dreams or the crushed purity and innocence of that person, that experience, or those reoccurring conversations taking the flair away from you and you being so cold and down to earth and calculated about it that you're just making it. Life is energy. Everything is soul to some extent, as much as it is what we can touch, feel, and see, right? You are definitely a very smart and aware person to even be here on this reading to have this conversation, so you already understand the significance or truth of it, or spirit literally guided you here and was like, look, this is the last part you are missing. You're doing everything right. Perfect, perfect, perfect. But you're lacking the spice of love, the spice of passion, the spice of like, I believe in myself, and I'm gonna goddamn make it true. And you can't take that away from me. You know, like you can disbelieve as much as you want, but my dreams are higher than your lack of faith in me. I don't need your faith. You know, the only faith I need is myself, and life is going to deliver through that because it is a big component in our experience and it is a big part of our lives and how things become real. That is like a huge reason why we're even here is because we incarnate to have these experiences that come from within us. The magic is us. It's not just willy-nilly happenstance and fate and destiny. We take ourselves there through the inside of where we are at or how we are, and you've just made it very dry. You've just made it so dry, so focused and hyper focused on one end, and it's tilted off the balance. And if you just raise it back up, you will literally have two forces meet up that are going to create the boom you need for you to have that chemical result, right? For you to have that um, explosion of expansion. But that's the only thing you're missing. It's like you're lacking the love of it, the spice of love with it, and it is going to give you more strength and oomph in everything you do, because it is going to be like you taking the missing link out of like that dark experience that made you the strong, resilient person you are today, that is focused on results and can really kind of make anything and everything happen. But it's just like our actions don't really have leverage if they don't come from a passion, right? A heart, a soul. They are just empty words and actions and things and doohickeys and results and numbers, right? But they don't matter because we don't see them mattering. We don't feel like they matter. We don't infuse them with love that matters. We don't infuse them with the care or the energy that really carries it home and makes it stand out and makes it be strong through the difference of like it being a sharper blade, basically. It's just a thing until we make it what it is, type of thing as well. Think of artists, right? Think of singers, right? Some of them can imitate the point that like you can feel the song because they're so talented and so great about it. But others also, what they do is like they really put their heart and soul into it. They sing about their life or experiences, and we connect through that because we can feel what they felt, right? And that's what really makes it special is that they are so open about it, that they are so real, that they let it alchemize and create this like immovable force or this significant value that cannot be replaced. It doesn't matter how many people do the same thing, but that one person that really actually loves themselves and loves the thing and are that dead set on it are really the people that make it a masterpiece, right? Or make a success off of it because they're so determined. I don't know why I keep getting like anime figures popping in my head as examples, like Goku, Naruto. I mean, I feel like most of you are guys here and dudes. Some of you are not. If you're, a woman, keep on watching. This is also for you. He, she doesn't matter in tarot, as I've heard recently, and I like that saying. So, to some extent, it kind of doesn't really, because these are general readings. Anyone can find the connection here, masculine and feminine, all the rest, right? Just energy. But I'm getting like also, what's that guy? Tato Nana. It's a new one on Netflix, and it's about literally like an ex-assassin that became just like a grocery store clerk with his newfound love. And he's a total damn badass, and it's such a good anime. You should watch it if you're into anime. It's a very wholesome anime. It's not like the as much like the fighting ones, but Black Clover is also a good example. Yeah, Goku, Naruto. Um, Claymore kind of came through. darker than black. Like all the animes are a great example of like this story of a personality or the person that cares the most, that has the most integrity, that loves the most, right? Despite the cruelness or the hardship or the fight or whatever, and they always win because they are the ones to care and love that much and to dig that deep into the core of it into what they've been through, like, or whatever, it's shaped them to always stand back up and be the loudest, be the strongest, be the most determined, get through no matter what obstacle it is, learn no matter how hard it is, or how ignorant they are, or how this or that it is. They find their way, whatever their way is, because of that drive through what they love, what they care about, what is their passion, and it just pushes them forward. Doesn't matter if they're a professional, if they're not, if they're the best, if they're not, if they have this or if they don't have that. They will make it freaking real. But if you don't have that, and if you just have that way of how they go about things, or that talent and that gift, it's gonna end up the same way all the time, every single time. And that's because that's the missing link that makes someone stand out or makes them special. It's their power of love and charisma, of their passion and what they care for, and the integrity they hold with that. So you're gonna need to actually like sit your ass down, probably maybe take a break from this if you can. If you can't just like take a little bit of a step back so you're not consumed by it, because I feel like you are very headstrong and hopelessly focused on it, that you need to sit to go through this doorway of looking back into your early past and journeying through that experience to transform into this version of you that has it all together. Like that it has that feeling and that passion integrated. So what you do transforms and elevates into a way better version of it too. Way stronger, way more impactful, way quicker, and you maybe need less effort towards it. Like you maybe stand out, you maybe just like see how to play the field better or use your opportunities or something. But whatever it is going through the mind to the heart of things and coming back from that experience that you had. It could be multiple experiences. I'm gonna say that. It is about, yeah, sitting down to go through that doorway to that deep past and do that transformation. So you're illuminated, you're wizened by your own self, by who you truly are, what made you become this to begin with, right? Because this thing isn't as good if it doesn't have you in it, your soul, your whole heart in it. It's just gonna be like whatever. You're not gonna even be happy with it or enjoy it, and you're not gonna like if you did get the results right now, the monetary value or the business, with it, you wouldn't be happy because it wouldn't feel right. You want it to feel a particular way because that's the dream, that's the vision that you have. It's the pizzazz behind the child that figured it out first and was like, this fucking rocks, I'm gonna make it real. If you lose that, you just have this idea that you're just gonna plop down and be like, oh, I earn money. Yay. And it's like, you know. I think that's enough. I feel like this group is no bullshit. Please don't overtalk or go over the time limit or whatever. Thank you. I got the message. Da, 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 da. Do you have any other information that I need? No, I do not. If you want to support me, I would appreciate that before you click off. Like or nothing, I guess, if you this then do nothing for you and doesn't help. I also have a link tree if you want to check that out. And other than that, see you next time. Much love. Good luck, and I hope you succeed. So, peace. Hello, pile number 5. We got there in the end. I did this all in one sitting, and I think this is my longest reading I have ever done. I don't think I've ever hit 3 hours. I could be wrong. There could be one reading, but anyway, victory! da da da, or trumpets, or I don't know, whatever your victory sound is. It could be from wherever you deem it to be a victory sound. Movies, um, yeah, Mario, freaking video games, right? Just like a certain anthem or, old school piece of music and trumpets of some sort or whatever it is. But victory, you have made it to where you always wanted to get to, even though it was a bloody fight getting here. You're humble though. Or like I don't know, I just looked at the Six of Wands and it was like you don't need to read me like that or look at me like that. Are you like undermining yourself? Out of success through negative self-talk and limiting beliefs and humble presence and appearance. Like you're not putting yourself out there. That's why you're not necessarily gaining as much traction as you want, but you are a person that doesn't have it too hard. It's just like maybe great amazing things are only meant for great amazing people. It's like who's the judge of that, right? Things seem this way or that way. I'm gonna plug my podcast, good and bad is and isn't for that like whole conversation and spiel. But like, why do you fight your success away? Because you're afraid to call what you need to do into action. Yeah, okay, that sealed the deal. So you would need to start doing some choices and decisions that other people would think would maybe be a bit weird, left field, left view. They wouldn't do it the way you would be doing it. They wouldn't take the road you would take, and you are limiting yourself, holding yourself back because of your whatever attachment, 3939 on the clock. You might want to Google that. But like you're literally keeping yourself away from your victory and you're so close to it. You're so damn close to it. You're there. You're basically there. You don't feel like you're there because you've never been that supported. You've never hyped yourself up that way. Maybe you have really big ambitions or dreams. Maybe you're shifting into a different whole sphere in a like sector, right? You were in the social sector, now you would be in the like creators or engineers sector, right? Whatever it is, you're literally limiting yourself. And I don't know that one person that said like literally I just shifted over to become an engineer or something like that, or out of being, no, I think it was like into engineer. But yeah, I heard you. Thing is like you need to be your own support system and you need to go away from those burdens that are holding you back. If it's related to people or places or otherwise, start working on that now because you either do it like right now, snap, if that's your version of doing it, which is very rare, but I feel like these people, pile fives, could do that. You could just snap something away and just go away and be happy with it. Other people can. You can do it in one sweep, swallow sweep move. You could do it basically like a snap. I'm just gonna leave it at that. My brain, I need food. I need food. But yeah, you're basically just a moment away from success. But it is through taking up that journey and leaving behind what is holding you back. Maybe going through that ending, right? Maybe you can't do that swift leave and just swoop out. Maybe you need to actually sit in the process of things falling away and going away because you are honestly, sorry, I just saw a very weird point of light and it was a floaty, but it was like, anyway, it was like a dark blob that just appeared and I couldn't have it go away. I don't know. Maybe you see some weird shit as well, but you ignore it and you just undermine it to be like, oh, that was just like an eye floaty, or that was, because my blood pressure or something else, or my nervous system, or I haven't eaten and whatever, and I just had a ringing in my ear. You have you have someone guiding you. You have like beings around you. You just undermine them as much as you undermine yourself. You're like, no, that didn't happen. Or you've gotten so used to it, you're like, my brain is wired differently and I see shit that shouldn't be there. It's like, how do you think psychics feel? They usually see normal things as not normal, or like other people would say is normal. They just learn to understand that it's not. It's actually them communicating with the other side. So that just came through, but you need to take yourself over there and you need to start listening to the guidance that's being sent your way. You need to stop undermining the visual cues and hallucinations, as you call them, or put them down probably, as to just being that hallucinations due to your lack of health or otherwise. A lot of you are perfectly healthy and you're just saying oh, I have a squeezed nerve here or there. Like, you're too smart for yourself. You can make excuses out of anything if you had to. Um, Professional bullshitter if you really want it to be, but that's not where you're going. And it's like you need to own up to your own truth and what you desire and the road you need to take there, even if it's unconventional, because no success or genius or person that was an entrepreneur or made something new has ever taken the road that is there already or has been made or is beaten or whatever. No, they took the road that was, less taken because it was challenging. You didn't have all the answers. It just felt right. No one else did it. You fell down a bunch of times along the way, but you got to the best place ever to build your own foundation and the house that everyone dreamed of having, right? But they had to do that, and they had to trust the process, and they had to like get out of their own head of what their limiting beliefs are because of this or that, or because someone said something here is how it's coming across. Like, you have a lot of naysayers and like people that don't have big dreams and they're just like talking themselves out of doing something that they want because they're like, there's no point, I don't want to actually do it, and they're happy staying where they're at. They enjoy going out to the pub every Friday. They enjoy spending every night on like video games and waking up tired for school or for work. They don't mind being escapists. They don't mind having hobbies that they're happy with, and they don't mind. Like, they're good. They're good. They don't want to go out of that comfort zone because their passions aren't that important to them. Their dreams aren't that necessary or significant. Yeah, they could do something about them, but they're just not there yet. They're not that driven. They're just sitting on it to process it and to embody it at another point in their soul's journey. Whenever that is, might be this lifetime or another lifetime. You're a different person. You're heavily driven by ambition, dreams, and success of what you want to see fruition in. And you're the one that calls it into action through your own focus and decision making, right? Like, you got to look towards the victory and the success of it and find every way in how to support yourself in that and to push yourself towards it and to believe that that's going to happen for you instead of taking the, usual like, who am I to think that? Who am I to be there, and etc. and blah blah blah. That's where your luck and success lies. It's not in staying in the normal mundane. You already are. You might have this thing where you already see everyone's lives for what it is. You see every. I feel like someone was like, "Yes, me." Um, you see every life for what it is. You see every trajectory, every purpose, every person, every like situation for the entirety that it is. You have like this hindsight, and you're like, I wish I could be them, because I would be happy with what I have. It's like you see it because you've already been there, done that. You wouldn't be happy there. You are meant for something else that you cannot see. Your life, your path is not seen. For them, it is a learning experience where they don't have all the answers just as much as this would be the same experience for you. But you gotta call you gotta call judgment on your own journey and take those thoughts with you. And maybe I feel like you'd grieve some things because you'd be like, oh, I can't go out and have fun with those people no more. I gotta sacrifice my weekends. 'Cause if I were to go have fun the way they do, I wouldn't have time to work on my projects. Or if I work on my projects, I won't want to go out and drink with my mates no more. I feel like some of y'all are British. I'm British. Like legit, I have such a vision or and vibe of Britain as if I'm back there. And I don't think just because like I've had some of these thoughts back when I was in Britain, I feel like literally there's like a British atmosphere I'm talking to. A person in British atmosphere. But like, everyone's happy having their fake fights and their drama and then their coming togethers and their arguments. I feel like someone's like, I literally heard a fake argument yesterday or this week and it was so insanity inducing to me. I don't understand why people do this. And it's like, 'cause they have fun with it. That's where they're happy. Their life is interesting that way. They make sense of it. They learn dynamics and socialization and cues and emotions and people's values through that, and they like being blinded to the truth they could understand or tune into if they kind of went to the end game, right? But they don't want to be in the end game. They like the mid-range or the beginning starter up point of game. You're not like that. You're kind of like, how do I break out and just like trick the matrix, open a portal? Like how do I shift the system? What do I do to get out of here? It's like you need to start investing your thoughts and emotions into stuff that matters to you, not the mundane lack of normal life, and that this is just society and this is socialization and this is where values are and tradition and this is what matters and this is how I was brought up. Just because you were brought up this way or you were told this was what matters doesn't mean it's right for you and doesn't mean those are your actual values. That doesn't mean that's your life. That just means like that's where some people are happy, and it's okay. It's fine. It's just not for you, man. Yeah, that I feel like how much you're gonna need to let go is gonna definitely upset you and hurt you because maybe you're gonna need to leave your hometown and stop talking to your best friends and maybe even stop talking to your parents as much. Like you're afraid of taking that portal that we just spoke about, that matrix glitch that you could create, that shifting, right? That quick, easy fix of success and moving forward with your ambitions and dreams. You don't want to take it because it would hurt. And all you need to start doing is being supportive towards it and really, really being honest. Like, this isn't making me happy. This is making me happy. Or I think I need another year to come to terms with my decision and going forward and leaving all of these people behind, or to just reflect and freaking go through my brain on what I thought mattered to me and what my life was going to be and what it is, or what leads me to the life I want. I think what leads me to the life that I want is actually the key here, because it's kind of like you wanted to take certain things with you. You thought many more people wanted to lead this experience in life with you, but it's like you're on your own, and I feel like such a pressure on my chest. I think I'm gonna quickly take a sip of tea before I continue because I feel such a pressure on my chest. Yeah, wait. Okay, sorry. I just really needed a break. Whew. Um, the energy's still kind of there, but it wasn't as bad once I took a breather and got some tea. Yeah, I just think like the choices you're going to need to start doing after you start realizing who you are, what you want, and how to get there is going to be very upsetting and unsettling because in hindsight you'll see like, oh, that person's going to be mad at me. I'm never going to talk to that person. I'm never going to hang out that way. I'm not going to be the same person, and so my life is not ever going to be the same. I won't be able to go back. It just That's the reality and the truth of things here. It's just how it's going to be, and it's hard. And take your time, like whatever amount of time you need to do this for it, like do that time. If it's right away, then right away. If it's not, it's not. I feel like a lot of you are still gonna take like a lot of some of you can start this journey in the midpoint of the year. Like you're gonna need spring to process this, and then midpoint you're gonna start doing it. Maybe you're gonna wean off one reality into the other. It's gonna be like a swap out. Either way, you're gonna start at zero, right? Ground zero, because you haven't really invested in this different new approach to life and who you are and what you want and where you're going. Whereas others of you, literally, you're gonna need to spend a year, like maybe by February, upcoming February, or upcoming like January, or whatever the equivalent of that would be for you for whenever you're watching this, because it's March 1st right now. That's when you're gonna actually start it, or you're gonna start having those conversations and going away from those people and etc. But I feel like everything's just going to be more evidence about the same old to you. It's going to be like things are going to become more uncomfortable, loud, and very obvious, and you will be dull and bored about where you are, but at least you're going to be emotionally satisfied with the road you're taking because you need that, excuse me, you need that emotional process to go on for however long it's going to go on, right? You can't you can't force a heart. You can't change how you feel, even if you think so smart, so sharp, or so ahead of the curve. You think in one way, but like your heart feels and beats by the drum of your own like attachments and values and love and care and compassion and relation and stories. And it's like a breakup. You need time. Um, you don't want to go through it, and that's respectable. Like that's understandable. If you're gonna be okay with being disgruntled mentally and being like, oh, this is getting stupid or something, yeah, it's fine. Don't take away the process from yourself just because it's gonna be this or that or whatever. Take the time you need and don't take any ish for it. I mean, that Five of Swords is talking about that basically. Process process the heartache you're going to need to go through to have these experiences with these other people or institutions or family members or whoever you're going to need to in hindsight, right? How you're going to need to shift your time, your scheduling, your whatever, what you're going to try to maintain still on the sidelines. But I feel like this needs to be a complete switch out and commitment. I don't think you can do a middle of the road here. It's either this or that. If it would have worked where you are and how you're doing it, or in any other way, right? It would have already happened, but it's not working because you need to be a different person in a different place with different people in a different timeline, following a different energy, living in a different atmosphere, energetically and practically. Oh my God, 5 and 5. This change is going to be big for you. It's going to be unpleasant. Yes, it's going to be social, and I mean, like discomfort because of the communication that's going to go on, or the thoughts that are going to need to be shared, or the things that are going to be said. I think some people are going to really show their stripes because they're going to think like you're thinking that you're better than them, and it's not. It's just kind of like you're trying to share with them, I think, or to inform them and tell them, and it's coming across a certain way because it triggers the point that they're not kind of following their dreams, but they're already happy where they're at. So it's kind of like they're just upset that you're going away and like why do you need to go away, like no you don't. It's like, well, if you guys were on par with this, or you would have been helping me get to where I wanted to be, like I would have already had some leeway or some success, but I need to take a different approach, and I'm sad about it. Like I don't want to fight about it. I don't want to fight about it. It's really interesting to me as well, like how the person here is holding three swords, very satisfied, right, which are ideas. And there's two people walking away from their ideas. The two swords on the ground, and this guy is alone. crying over three cups, which are emotional things, aspects, whatever, not seeing the other two behind him, which I think you would actually be. I think in this position, if it was you, you'd be very aware of the three emotional connections, three emotional, the whole social dynamic you're letting go of, right? And the connections you're letting go of, and the relationships anew that you're inviting into, or the relationship with yourself that you're creating for your new life, right? But it's just there's something about like the two on the floor here, the three on the floor here, like the decision for the relationships obviously to end, and the heartache that you're going to be conscious of and you're going to need to process through beforehand, kind of being like so super conscious aware about like all of the relationship changes and dynamics that are happening. I don't know, there's something very kind of like deep here with these two fives happening that I can't put together. I hope you can for yourself. If you can't, maybe you have like a tarot reader friend. Maybe you can question this placement, because I am looking at it and I'm like, I feel like I'm just gonna keep learning tarot forever and ever because it has so many hidden things in it that are just like, wow. Yeah, I don't know, whatever like these two swords on the floor with these two people going away means for you. I think you might have a vision right now as we're talking about this about certain people and how they're going away or what's happening, like through the truth that you're speaking, like they're walking away from their understanding of their truth. Maybe they got disillusioned about the truth they were expecting was real with you, but actually they realized like, oh, that was not real at all. Maybe it was a version of you, right? And then you being very conscious and aware of like just the party mode that you released and let go of, which you did care about because it was like a community thing. It was a group thing, a group of friends. It was like a collective, you know. You spent a lot of happy moments with these people, but you're needing to replace it so you feed the relationship within yourself of like following your dreams and trusting yourself and going towards that like relationship that matters to you, as well as like inviting whatever other relationships would be involved with that. And you're standing by your decision, right? With the two swords, but you understand that this is a painful truth as well, and you're just maybe not letting it linger within your life. It might linger for them for a while though. Either way, I see you taking action, especially after this reading. I feel like three of swords on the damn bottom. If it's gonna, okay, it's not the two swords on the top. I would have been like, or the two or three of cups would have been also like trippy. Three of cups would have probably been the trippiest, right? I don't know. You can share your opinions. I think three of cups would have been trippiest, but although it's going to be uncomfortable, you are going to walk your path and take like the load of the work that you need to take on to move forward within like what you desire and your ambitions, and to create that. Was this the pile where I talked about like creating that house and everything? Because the house is coming across here and I haven't really noticed the house ever, but there's a damn house here. So yeah, you're gonna go on and you're gonna build that foundation. You're gonna build that home in this new atmosphere and place, even though it's going to be uncomfortable and you're going to feel like a little bit silly for it, like you're following your heart's passions, right? But you're a bit maybe like you're inexperienced about it or for it. It's a new beginning, it's a brand new slate. You don't really have too much supporting you. You're kind of just using your own know-how and your ambitions and desires, and you're just following your dreams finally, instead of actually having like the stability of like where you were. But you also knew like it wasn't making me happy. I needed to put down the sadness that it was bringing me, and it's better to take this road of like work and passion and effort and labor than it is to stay stuck where I'm stuck at. Even though like, you know, I'm it's just starting from ground zero, like at least I have my own fate and desires and dreams and guiding me is also what's coming across with that. I don't know what the heck that is. A red feather, I guess. Probably a red feather. I don't freaking know. But yeah, that's your reading. I hope it helps. Feel like it did. Thank you very much for spending your time here and sharing your energy. I hope to see more of you. There's also a link tree down below that you can check out more of me at with my streams and my gaming and whatever. And I really appreciate, you showing support through the like button or whatever else you do. Keeps me coming back. And yeah, I hope you have luck and you do what's best for you, no matter how tough it is, and you succeed swiftly or you have evidence appear quickly so you can actually trust yourself in the process of it. So, thank you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.